said, wait a minute, is everybody alright? How can everybody be alright? Think about the people starving in Ethiopia. Think about my brothers struggling for power in South Africa. The wicked oppressor keep on trying to keep them under. Tell me, Lord, how long do my people have to suffer? Oh, I'm a warrior, I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior, and I'm a fighter. Yes, I know I'm gonna have to fight on for my total freedom. Yeah, oh yeah.
also gave an update on how things have been going.
said, wait a minute. Is everybody alright? How can everybody be alright? Think about the people starving in Ethiopia. Think about my brothers struggling for power in South Africa. The wicked oppressor keep on trying to keep them under. Tell me, Lord, how long do my people have to suffer? Oh, I'm a warrior, I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior, and I'm a fighter. Yes, I know I'm gonna have to fight on for my total freedom. Yeah, oh yeah, all right. No. Don't free my hands and leave my mind in chains. Don't say I'm free and you still washing my brain to do the things that you want me to. I've got a mind of my own. I'm gonna do what I want to do, 'cause I'm a warrior and I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior and I'm a fighter, and I'm gonna fight on for my total freedom. Yeah. Oh yeah, alright. My song, you like it? Would you come and sing along? Yeah. Oh yeah, alright. No. You give me work and make me slave all day. Then you raise your prices high to take away my pay. My eyes are open and yet you think I can't see all the wrong things you have done and are still doing to me. Makes me a warrior and I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior, I am a freedom fighter. I'm gonna fight on for my total freedom. Oh yeah, alright. No. Oh yeah, alright. My song, your song, come on and help me sing along, people. Those lands you own and live in luxury, and you pretend you don't know they belong to me. By fraudulent means you took them away, but you better get ready for the price you have to pay. 'Cause I'm a warrior and I'm a freedom fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total. Said I'm a warrior, I am a freedom fighter. I'm gonna fight on for my total freedom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright. My song, your song, come on and help me sing along, people. Oh yeah. Alright. No. Wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. Is everybody alright? How can everybody be alright? Think about the people starving in Ethiopia. Think about my brothers struggling for power in South Africa. The wicked oppressor keep on trying to keep them under. Tell me, Lord, how long do
This your time. Your man please, what you did with his heart. Poor people fed up, fed up. Well done, Mr. Politician Man. You done a wonderful job at tear down the country demolition man. Civil Bank, well done, Mr. Politician Man. You done such a great job selling out the country with your business plan. Poor people fed up.
For the price you have to pay, 'cause I'm a warrior, and I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total said I'm a warrior. I am a freedom fighter and owner. Said I'm gonna fight on for my total freedom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright. My song, your song, come on and help me sing along, people. Oh yeah. Alright. No. Wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. Is everybody alright? How can everybody be alright? Think about the people starving in Ethiopia. Think about my brothers from Hawaii in South Africa. The wicked oppressor keep on trying to keep them under. Tell me, Lord, how long do my people have to suffer? Oh, I'm a warrior, I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior, and I'm a fighter. Yes, I know I'm gonna have to fight on for my total freedom.
I called somebody to do an interview, and you know what I did? I called them on my own cell phone, Corky, and I put it on to the mic.
Oh.
It was a disaster, Corky, a disaster.
I couldn't be here.
Never leave me again, Corky, never.
I won't leave you.
Corky,
Yes.
when we start and what first?
Well,
Corky,
I
you want to
don't
start
know.
slow? You want to start with a bang?
Yeah, I like starting
It's
slow.
New Year. It's a new year. It's 2022, y'all. It's the month where everybody does.
Let me start with this.
Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down.
Corky, I like local music. Corky.
Okay.
I do like local music.
Right.
But you know what? You missed some of my songs I was doing. I gave a little personal
yes.
session last week, Corky.
Yeah.
I talked about my time in England and, fighting to make it out of poverty.
Yeah, someone was telling me about you were talking about
Yes,
this,
yes. So you'll have to play a little bit of the song after like a 5 seconds, because people online, once you start to play music, they shut us down. So it was Ghetto Story.
Yes,
You have to
so-
play Ghetto Story for them. Okay, so I'm going to start a little bit sober, maybe. Oh gosh, I'm always sober. But that's not what I mean. I mean, we ain't ready to fire up. Because listen, it's ironic because we want to start the new year off with a bang, literally talking about fireworks and the distraction of a certain attorney general.
All right.
Oh my goodness. I almost do not want to discuss it
Yes.
because it's a distraction. There is no possible way that he could have written that legislation seriously. I mean, I read a Facebook post today. It's the president of the Single Fathers Association, but he also was the president or the chairman or whatever of the foreign use car dealership and whatnot. And so he was talking about his frustration because apparently there's a tax break that citizens are supposed to get with regards to a certain kind of car and whatever. I didn't get to listen to his interview. But you could feel the frustration. And oh my gosh, I now start in this game, I now start in this activism game. And it really feels that way. It really, really feels that way because we are out there pounding the pavement, talking. And you just kind of wonder, is anybody listening? Because it is beyond me, Corky,
Yes.
how Faris Al-Rawawi, Al-Rental, is still our Attorney General. First to begin, after paragraph 4 and that, after the procurement legislation, this whole country should have shut down first to begin. But then you had paragraph 4, which puzzled the president, left us in a constitutional crisis, and he still kept his job.
Oh.
How? I mean, it's one thing with alleged scandals and alleged corruption and all of that, right? We'll get to that. But your job is legislation. Your job, that is your job. So forget whether you're doing it corruptly, not corruptly, your family gets in a set of millions of dollars in rent. Forget all of that. Your ability to write good law, that is what you are paid for. That is your job.
Yes.
I read on Wired 868, you know, it was kind of funny. I mean, it's a kind of a sarcastic kind of piece, but you know, he just says, well, I have to write law, so let me just write law. Let me just get a piece of paper, and honestly, I think the paper itself might have been more valuable if he had presented it blank. If he had uploaded 10 sheets of white paper, Corky, it would have been better. It would have been better had the Attorney General just put fireworks legislation on top of it,
Yes.
try to do it without typos, and upload 10 blank pieces of paper. Because from that, and then say, okay, I invite consultations, because we might have gotten somewhere.
Yes.
But it is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. Here's what is... I don't even know where to start, and this was not where we were supposed to start. We were not supposed to start with the
Yes.
Attorney General. We really were not. But it's just so difficult not to.
Yes.
But the man posts on his social media saying, I spent all night with my dog, keeping my dog safe, keeping my dog alive, because the fireworks was a problem.
Okay.
Then you craft legislation and you say that the one night that is excluded from the legislation is the night that you had a problem with the fireworks in the first place.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, Corky, is anybody up there? Is anything working up there?
I don't know.
It's not even, you know, I know Trinidadians just like we jamming still. I know that it's our plus and negative, it's our strength and our weakness all at the same time, because if we were to really take on stress, then we would all live in the madhouse.
Oh.
The challenge with that, though, is that I think we've gone to from one extreme, and maybe not even to the next. You know, so what happens is people like myself, and Anil and Victor, and all the other people who continue to pound the pavement, we have to take on the burden of everybody else who just jamming. Everybody else who live in a life where, oh gosh, don't study it now, like you'll give yourself a heart attack. Not understanding, not having the vision to understand that if we do not fight,
Yes.
if we do not stand up, if we do not pay attention, if we do not call this government to order,
Yes.
we will not have a Trinidad and Tobago. And this is not fear-mongering. This is basic history. I always like to go back to parenting because, you know, that's my thing. That before I was called a UNC activist, they used to call me a parenting activist.
Oh.
You have a child. The child is born. The child breastfeeds. The child sits up, maybe turns over, crawls, walks, speaks. There are milestones. And and while there are, so for instance, we'll say, okay, well, even within the milestones, you know, each child learns differently. But then there's a certain point where, something is wrong.
Yes.
So we may say, okay, well, look, my child walk, and I remember Sarah walked kind of early, so by 8 months, 10 months, 9 months or whatever, she was walking, running down the place. Generally, children tend to walk about a year, maybe even 15 months. But you know, if your child is still really struggling to walk by 2 years, 3 years, imagine you just say, nah, man, relax. God is a Trini. We jamming still. How would people view you? Everybody around you would watch you like, what is up with this parent? You reach Christmas, you reach a Christmas lime and your 3-year-old is still in a pram and can't get out because she can't walk. And you are just like, nah, relax, or they go give all yourself a heart attack. People would watch you like, I think you should be concerned.
Yeah.
And that is my fear with Trinidadians right now. You look at, okay, where were we when we became independent? What natural resources did we have? Where were we in terms of leadership in the Caribbean? What were our projections? Theoretically, based on the potential of Trinidad and Tobago, what could we have become? And are we hitting those milestones? Or are we in fact going backwards? And that's what I really want Trinidadians. Oh gosh, your phone line's ringing already. Oh my gosh. I will open it very soon, I promise.
Yes.
That is what I want Trinidadians. And oh my gosh, look at how many comments, and I haven't even been reading. Lots of people look at some facts as negative and fear-mongering. Yes, and that is true. That is so true. It's not that we're being negative.
Yes.
It's not that we're being unpatriotic. In fact, I think that the least loving thing that you can do for somebody is watch them go down a precipice, watch them fly off a cliff, and be like, hey, nothing's wrong, go right ahead. Because you're afraid to stand up. You're afraid. The most loving thing someone could do is risk you being upset with them to tell you, hey, changes need to happen.
Yes.
I love you. And I'm only saying this out of love. I'm only coming to you and saying, listen, where you headed is a road of disaster. So out of love, I'm saying to you,
Yes.
you need to change. We at a place here, you have left turn, right turn, but you can't keep going in the direction you're going.
No.
And that is where we come from. That's where our passion comes from.
Yes.
From a love of, and not country in terms of, the flag and whatever, but a love for our people, a love
Yes.
for your children, because it's not just my children. You know, it's funny, people talk about, when I talk about the education system and all kind of thing, Corky, I just homeschool my children. So the education system matters not to me.
Right.
Virtual school, online school, physical school, COVID, no COVID, there has been no difference in our school life because this is what we've been doing for the last 8 years.
Yes.
So my fight has nothing to do with me in particular. But it is a love for others. It is a sacrificial love that we love our neighbors even better than ourselves, because the Bible calls us to esteem others. And well, you would have heard that in my Christmas message. If as citizens we esteem others above ourselves, then we would understand that the fight is not because we want to fight. Corky, I'd rather stay home on a Friday and just watch Netflix. And I have a husband, so it could be Netflix and chill. You know?
Netflix.
But here we are, fighting, pounding the pavement, and you wonder, is anybody listening? Is anybody listening?
Is anybody out there?
You know, is anybody out there, Corky? Because,
Hello.
again, you have an attorney general that puts out this fireworks legislation. And, it's like jokes on Facebook, because really and truly, I feel like that's where we at now. We can't be upset anymore. We can't take it anymore. We're exhausted.
We want to live.
Well, no, don't play that song. That song is for
Okay.
something else.
All right.
Don't play that song yet. That was actually what we were going to start with, and
Yes.
that's why that song came up.
Yes.
But somehow, I can't get over this Attorney General. Right? I cannot get over the Attorney General who starts off with his tweet is, I spent all night securing my dogs from these fireworks.
Yes.
So, unlike the rest of us, who I had to go inside with the child can run outside and play because the fireworks were bothering her. Then, of course, if you have a baby, the baby gonna get woken up and all of that. Unlike the Attorney General, he could pass a law to fix it immediately, you know. He could.
And
The man chose to write in his law on the one night that he say he was having a problem with his dog and fireworks, that's the one night we don't require a permit. I just can't understand it. I really, like, for the life of me, cannot understand it. And you know the Attorney General, okay, you know, smooth talker, you know, that's my smooth criminal kind of song that we like to play for these people. Because it's not, he gonna come, after get sideburns and like come one day dressed like Paris and speak like, and he almost look like a Elvis, you don't find he's look like a kind of new Elvis, a modern day Elvis. You see, you're laughing because it's true. And then he comes and he speaks and he uses all these big words to try to make us feel like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
But again, you all know I believe in just common sense over book sense, right? Which is why we unschool, because, you know, we could just use what God has given us and just sit and I mean, Corky, I
Yes.
don't know if you did law. I certainly didn't. I always tell people I am just a housewife.
I didn't do law.
But if I am a lawyer,
Yes.
if I am the top lawyer of the country, I have the ability to pass legislation. And I am sitting with my dog. So picture me with my dog, hugging my dog up on All Year's
Yes.
Night. First to begin, that's why we know his tweet possibly was not truthful. Either that or it's filled with typos, just like his legislation.
Yes.
Because he posts on the 1st, which is New Year's Day. He posts that during the day, but he say he spent New Year's night. You can't spend New Year's night because that's the future. New Year's night hasn't come by the time you were posting. I think he meant All Year's Night, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he meant All Year's Night. So, picture he is there with his dog. Oh my gosh, my Facebook went. And I mean, people were commenting. I was reading your comments, guys. Oh my, now I have to find it back. Corky,
Yes.
I have to find them back.
Okay.
I'm finding them. I'm finding it. I found your 86 shares, 48 comments.
Yes.
We now start. Oh my gosh.
Share the live.
Share the live, yes. So, you're holding your dog, and you're just like, oh my, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And you're patting the dog, and you're patting the dog, and you say it's gonna be okay. And you're absolutely frustrated with these fireworks. But unlike everybody else, you have permission. I mean, not permission, you have power to make a change. So you say, right, dog, on behalf of all dogs, I am going to put legislation in place for these animals. I'm going to put legislation in place for these animals. But then you don't put legislation in place for the same All Year's Night that, according to you, caused lots of problems for your own dog, and according to you, because of that, you felt the need to do this legislation. Apart from the dog, we now see Stuart Young is weighing in, and of course he trying to. Let me tell you, PNM so good, so good.
They're
They're so
good.
good at being bad, because you know. I don't have the words. I have to find the words. But you know, no, not 43 views. Oh gosh, sorry, no, not 43 views, y'all. 40. I had a set of comments. I was counting the comments that I had to read by the time I came off of this live. I'm so sorry. Right, for real. That's why I love to hear. Oh, yes. So, what was I saying? You know, I forget what I was saying. Great. So he has this dog, and All Year's Night. Now Stuart Young comes. And Stuart Young, that's what I was saying, PNM and their little body behavior. Because, you know, Keith Rowley stand up on a platform and boast that they have a code of secrecy. And he quoted a gang. And that's the kind of secret which, again, is anybody out there? How can someone stand on a platform and say this, quote a gang, talk about we keep each other's secrets, and then we vote for him? How? Trinidad and Tobago, we can no longer jam. We really can't. Elections have consequences. What we do now will not only impact us, but it will impact our great-grandchildren. So when you see a prime minister or anybody come on television, come on a campaign and say to you blatantly that in the PNM they keep secrets, and then goes on to quote gang language, that is a red flag. Please, that is a red flag. So anyways, Shaw Chung, being a true PNM minister, make sure that he don't want to break rank totally, because for him, he believed legislation should pass where it just ban fireworks outright. Because of course, one of his constituents lost their home. And I mean, several people became homeless because of it. Because of this firework issue on Ole's night. On the same Ole's night that of all the nights, forests go in and not and allow fireworks is Ole's night. That's the one night you don't need the permit. Right? Here's the thing with this. Here's a twist with this whole fireworks legislation. And actually, at this point, I'm going to read it. Yes. I'm going to read so Gary Griffith, you all know we love the Gary Griffith, right? And this is 2016. Then there's 2018. Well, you know 2018 is even longer. But I'm just going to read a zero tolerance on misuse and unauthorized sale of fireworks. So in 2016, he issues a release. In 2018, he issued a release. So they were issuing releases. And of course, that didn't happen with the new TTPS COP. Just by the way, But he goes on to quote the existing law. Here the existing law, Corky.
Yes.
Summary Offences Act, Chapter 11, 2, Section 99, 1 states, except as prescribed by regulations under this act, any person who throws, casts, sets fire to, or lets off any fireworks within any town is liable to a fine of $1,000. So what you're saying is that we currently have legislation that prohibits people from lighting fireworks within any town. So I'm even more confused as to then why do we even need this legislation? Why do we need a permit? How about we just enforce Summary Offences Act, Chapter 11, 2, Section 99, that says you cannot throw fireworks, light fireworks, anything with fireworks within a town. It's there. It's there. Right? So, 2018, he goes on further. Fireworks are not to be used indoors, near dry grass, or anywhere that may cause injury to persons and animals or damage to property, and should not be sold to any child under the age of 16. Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will ensure that persons engaged in the sale of fireworks conduct such businesses under the authority. And right, so that one is a little different. Because, okay, you could sell it. But nobody's going to waste money purchasing it. If they knew that the TTPS was going to be driving around on Ole's night, making sure that the fireworks are not lit, are not used. Once we clamp down on existing law, we should have no need for new ones. And this is something that it always boggles me when we get these new laws, and we cannot enforce the ones that we have. We cannot enforce the ones that we have. Which leads me into what I believe the true motive of this fireworks legislation is. And in fact, let me pull back up my Facebook. You know what open the call lines. Before I say what I think the motive is, let me see how our listeners going. 218-7762. Tell me on Facebook, tell me wherever you are, call us and let us know. What do you think, that's the question of the hour right now. What do you think is the real motive behind the Attorney General bringing fireworks legislation for consultation? The phone's ringing already because everybody know the answer.
218-7762.
Answer that one for me, Corky. Hello, you are live.
Miss Walker, blessed night to you.
Blessed
And to
night to
Mr.
you.
Corky, too.
Good evening.
You see, the problem is that bill was so long to come. And the Attorney General, I can't see how you're making your program on him. Because every single thing, from Christmas to Christmas, New Year's to New Year's, this bill going to do this and this bill going to do that. But all the economic that comes from that, it hurts people. You make a cigarette factory, the taxes that come from that hurts people. You make a rum factory, the taxes that come from that hurts people. And you're going down the line like that. Mr. Alwari, yes, no, the people, as the Prime Minister, the people are stupid, and we just keep on keeping us stupid. You make that bill and they throw it on a shelf. What happened to next year is the same fireworks again. And one thing, Miss Marcia, is they say when you're a PNM addict, it's hard to come out of it. Eh? Have a blessed and wonderful night to one another.
Same to you. Same to you. 2187762. I want to hear, what do you think is the real motive behind Faris Al-Rawi, our Attorney General, bringing the fireworks legislation for consultation now? And it's not that he just laying it in Parliament. All of a sudden, this PNM government knows how to consult. When they were supposed to bring consultation before mandatory vaccination, when they were supposed to bring consultation, when they were supposed to talk to the union leaders and all of that, they didn't know the word consultation. But all of a sudden, fireworks legislation, consultation begins on Monday. All of a sudden, 2187762. Come, I want to hear, what do you guys believe is the real motive behind this legislation coming in at the time that it's coming? I feel they're not accustomed to opening up the lines so early. They like to have the lines open up 8 o'clock and stuff. So they ain't ready for it. But I'm gonna go on with it. I'm gonna just tell you all. And I know, of course, Facebook, they're a little bit behind. So all the talk about Faris rights, you see, that is what it is. Of course. So I ain't gonna tell you, because people on Facebook already saying what the real motive is. 2187762. This is your last chance to get in what you think is the real motive behind bringing this legislation at this time. Well, Corky, that's it. You're not taking off my headphones. You know, once I take off my headphones.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so yes, Davika is very correct. All the talk about Faris, party boat, he need a deflection. If this, let me tell you, this PNM government, if they could be as good as they are with deflection and propaganda.
You got a call?
Okay, let me take the call.
Hello.
Hello, good night, Marsha.
Could you load
Good
the
night,
phone?
Corky.
Good night.
And good night to the listeners.
Yes.
And how could you tell between a firework and a gunshot? Are they frightened? They know they are doing something wrong. To my people, so they don't know the difference.
Right.
And they are totally scared now.
Yes.
But listen, when Kamala Prasad was set out to India, and she was going down to the president of India as a mark of respect according to Hinduism, he said, no, we don't prime minister. But when he go in the masjid, he on his knees and he put in his head on the ground. They frightened. Tell them, be cautious. Because everybody now is fully aware of their attitudes and the way. How could you take our people money and finance an organization internally and externally and have our people suffering? Are they linked up with ISIS? Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Good night. Yes. So this firework legislation, Corky, it is nothing but a distraction, because that is what PNM is good at. If they could only use the skills, their brain power, to do something more than keep each other's secrets and distract, we would be first world, you know. Corky, we would be first world. But when you use that brain power to come up with these distractions, because there is no way, Corky, that legislation could be serious. In no way that legislation could be serious. He saw an opportunity to change the narrative, and that's what he did. That is what he did. Because, and we should go on a break,
Yes.
because when we come back,
Yes.
we're going to remind the population of what he needed us to be distracted from.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so we're going on a break. I know you're holding that song. Oh gosh, I know you're holding the song. But we're going on a break. When we come back, we have to, maybe we should finish with Faris. I know, but we should finish with Faris. And then we will get back serious after the break, I promise. All right? Don't go anywhere. U975 FM, hot like pepper.
douglAR Radio is now on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. with Anil Roberts, bringing you the facts on politics and up-to-date information. Also taking your calls on 218-7762. douglAR Radio on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Get ready for the revolution. What you say now?
Sponsored by Royal Castle.
What goes in is a local something that makes it all taste better. It's the flavor of our culture. Come from here, come from there, and everywhere. It's the special flavor that's made us savor at the Royal Castle. Oh, come the Royal Castle. Royal Castle. Flavor to the bone. Royal Castle. Taste the very own. Royal Castle is the local something that makes it all taste better. Taste the unique flavor of our culture at Royal Castle.
Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain, has the largest variety of toys in the Caribbean and South America. No one can beat our prices. If you see it cheaper anywhere else, prove it and we will beat it. We're open every day till late, Sunday to Sunday, even on Christmas Eve till 11 p.m. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain. Even Santa buys toys from us.
Toys.
And also the Island Hobbies, they've got lots of stuff for the kids. If you're having a little kids party and so on, they have lots of other stuff, including, still have toys as well. U97.5, douglAR Radio on U97.5.
Fire Friday!
Friday, mash up the place. Friday, in front of the face. Friday, red, white, and black. Friday, and black. Friday.
Fire Friday!
Thank God it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday. Friday, mash up the place. Friday, in front of the face. Friday, red, white, and black. Friday, and black. Thank God it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday.
Fire Friday!
Fire Friday with Marsha Walker.
Oh, well, I'm told we have our resident lawyer, our official douglAR radio lawyer on the
Yes.
line. Is he there?
Yes, he is.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Marsha.
How
A
are
pleasant
you?
Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, I just want to answer this one person. Julian said to forget Al-Rawi. He said we have better things, we have more pressing matters to discuss. Julian, I want to say, and Brian, I'm sure you could agree, that is what they want us to do, you know. They want us to forget. You know, Brian, you ever watch How to Be a Tyrant, the Netflix series?
Yes.
You know, I like to talk about that show all the time. And the number one tool of a tyrant, of a dictator, is hunger. Because when you're busy being hungry, you can't study Faris and his millions of rent money or his ridiculous fireworks legislation. And that is what Julian, I want to say to you. That's why we have to study them. Because that's a plan. Listen, had this been a UNC Attorney General, Brian, what do you think would have happened? They would have burned downtown. They would have burned downtown. Everybody has patience for PNM, but no grace for nobody else.
Well, I mean, again, a pleasant good night to you and your listeners, and as well as a pleasant good night to the indomitable Corky.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Boy, I mean, I finally get to meet the famous Corky. You know, let me just say thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, welcome.
It's a pleasure to always be on the douglAR Politics program. I hope one day to be there with the original douglAR. You know? Let me just say that
I think he here Monday.
It is an honor again. Now, I'm not sure who is the Julian guy, but I'm sure he's a pleasant person. But let me say it like this. If you want us to ease up on the AG, well, okay, all right. I have no problem with that. But you see, if the Attorney General continues in doing what he has been doing, there's no way to let up on him, right? Because of the fact that you have an Attorney General who has been doing things that is not needed for the office of the Attorney General. And I mean that as the office.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone, having been there, when I say been there, I was never an Attorney General, but I would have worked with two previous Attorney Generals there, and it is just sad to see what that office has become. From being embroiled in so many things, to see legislation being brought about, and hearing even the normal man on the Clapham bus, if I may say it like that, when we were learning law, when we were in law school, the man on the Clapham bus is said to be the normal human being.
Well, somebody here said, even a 5-year-old could write better law.
Well,
one of our listeners on Facebook say even a 5-year-old could write better law.
Well, let me go even further. Is that you have the normal, non-legal minded individuals who are basically putting pronouncements on what the Attorney General is doing. And when you have a normal common man basically stepping out and basically having to show that what is being done is, how to say it, radio friendly. What passes for legislation, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
If I may put it like that.
Yes.
I mean, a former Prime Minister once said, former Prime Minister Basio Pandey said, when an Attorney General has the normal man on the street asking questions of what he is doing, then clearly that Attorney General needs to go. And further to that, when you have the current political leader and former Prime Minister, Mr. Shamla Prasad Visasa, having to basically school the Attorney General constantly, then again it shows. And she herself is a former Attorney General herself. Constantly have to show that again, this Attorney General, my God, sir, go on mind dog. Right?
Well,
mind dog.
But Brian, obviously he's not even good at doing that because he's saying that his dog had a problem on Olea's night. So you are the owner of this dog. and you are in a position of power. And it's like if dogs could speak, the dog himself will say, but Faris, the one night that the fireworks just have me going crazy is the one night we don't need a permit. So
But
he not
I
even
will-
doing good at minding the dog.
But Marsha, I'm sure Corky would agree with me here. We're in 2022 now. So we are 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015 to 2010. Faris al-Rawi was around politically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently during those timelines, when we had an old as night, apparently everything was okay with the dog, right?
Right.
So apparently it was good. But on this unfaithful night, you know, you see where the score dog, and apparently it's an Akita. Because we have, I saw a senior attorney had to remind the country that Faris al-Rawi reminded the country he has an Akita. And an Akita, for anyone who doesn't know, an Akita is a very different breed of dog.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein an Akita would then fall under the ambit of a dangerous dog, eh?
Right. Okay.
If anybody knows what an Akita is forced under the working class dog,
Yeah.
and that of German shepherds, like what I have,
Mm-hmm.
Rottweilers, all those things. So the Attorney General has a good taste in dog, I would say that. I mean, I don't know, maybe give him a compliment, right? But now you have an Attorney General who has brought legislation forward to deal with fireworks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, again, these laws are already on the law book, under the Summary
Yes.
Offences Act of
Yes.
Section 99,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you come now in the dead of the night to bring this piece of legislation
Mm-hmm.
and to amend the Summary Offences Act under Section 99 to 101. So you made these amendments by repealing and replacing and substituting into new laws, right? And
Yeah.
I've read these, I've read these laws, these suggested amendments, right?
Yes. Suggested
And
amendments.
It leaves a lot to be desired, right? I mean, you came and you brought part of the legislation where, let's just look at that, where
Mhm.
Section 100 is being amended. Is it okay to go into it?
Yes. Go into it.
Right? So it's dealing with the granting of permits. Now, within that, a permit authorizing the discharge of a firework shall A, not be issued to a person under the age of 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Attorney General, that's already there under the summary offences.
Yes.
Right? Especially the type of fireworks, amount of fireworks, location, date and time during which fireworks may be discharged. Well, okay, all right. Only by valid for the location, date and time specified. So in other words, it's only valid for the time you want to use it for.
Right. So if I want to use it, well, it can't be used early as night because we don't need it. But if I want to use it on the 10th of January, I have to say, okay, 10th of January, Maraval, 10 a.m.
Well, I come into that, eh? Hold on.
Okay.
Right? B and D be issued subject to such other terms and conditions that may be prescribed. So these are what Section 100 is. But under the parent legislation, right, the original Section 100 deals with any person who throws, casts, sets fire to,
Yep.
or lets off any fireworks into
In
or
a
upon
town.
or in a town,
Yes.
or into or upon any place.
Yes, because just before we called, you had actually read what the current legislation was.
So you come and you bring this now for the issue of a permit. I mean, Attorney General, why? What is the rationale? See, these questions are now going to be asked,
Yeah.
right? And what is the rationale that your dog was affected? Please.
Well, again, it's not making sense that the dog is affected, which is why we have a little poll out. Is the fireworks legislation just a distraction? Because it's not real. It can't be real. That kind of law cannot really. And all of a sudden, the PNM knows how to consult. All the time, they can't consult for mandatory vaccination. But, big headlines. Check it here. I don't know. Well, actually have it here. Wait. Fireworks consultation starts today. That's on the Guardian front page Wednesday, January 5th. Consultations? It is just a way of changing the conversation away from, hold on, sorry, my daughter just said hi mom on Facebook, but I think she's watching from my Facebook because I seen it from Marsha Walker. Or hi Jess. Yes, you can go on. Sorry, you know we have to make time for the family. They come first.
But Marsha, you have to look at it like this, right? That I have no problem with legislation to ensure that the protection of. I agree that fireworks do affect animals, do affect dogs. There are lots of the dog lovers who are asking for this to be dealt with better. Fine.
But we have legislation, Brian. So can't we just enforce the legislation? Because we have had the TTPS issue media releases, which is I read that just before, where Gary Griffith would have issued media releases quoting the same Summary Offences Act, stating that it is illegal to light fireworks, and he quote the whole thing, within a town. He goes on to list what a town is right, according to law. And the bottom line is, Brian, if we simply enforced that law, if we walked around and wrote people $1,000 tickets like we are going out of style, first to begin, that would be the most legit way that I think that this government could earn some money. Because they
Marsha,
like to tax.
Right. But Marsha,
it's a good way.
I'm gonna go a little further, right? Yes, the issue is enforcement, but we must understand Trinidad and Tobago is our culture. It's not like they say every Monday morning somebody sending a fireworks. We send up fireworks only when there's some particular type of holiday.
Okay, but yet we do not need a permit on the public holiday. So what is the point of the legislation, Brian? Help me. What is the point of the legislation? So these same people who are calling for legislation, we have something in place already. Just enforce it. So why don't we put our boots on and walk and say, Jacobs, where were your police officers on the 9th of December 31st? Why you wasn't around Faris? First to begin, why didn't Faris pick up the phone? The same way Faris picked up the phone on December 26th to call Jacob to say me don't know what, but I just find it a little fishy. He called Jacob on the same night that Schoon being getting his whole party boat shut down. The same night that Schoon in police station, he happened to call Jacob. So your phone didn't know Jacob number on December 31st when the doggy dog crying and howling and all kind of thing. You could not say, listen, Jacob, where your police officers? Fireworks like crazy. Come and issue some tickets. You couldn't do that?
Right. So, Marsha, here's the thing.
He only know when to call Jacob.
Even under the parent legislation, Section 101 deals with the regulations that allows for application for a permit. But if we look at the amendments, right? There's an amendment to Section 101, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where that you must notify certain entities. But here who you notify? Fire services, Civil Aviation Authority, EMA, Municipal Corporation. Now, I have a problem with this amendment in that I'm okay with notifying your fire services. I have no problem with that. They are the persons who are equipped to deal with situations. Fine. Two, I have no problem dealing with the AMA as the noise level that it may want to cause may be at a level that could be deemed as harsh or onerous to the environment or to your own environment. Mm-hmm. But what I have a problem with is that you have to now inform the Civil Aviation Authority. So my understanding of the Civil Aviation Authority is that this is the organization that's supposed to deal with air traffic control. So you telling me I ain't going to tell the civil aviation, well, I'm having a little celebration for independence. I'm going to have about 2 or 3 or 4 fireworks. No, unless you have very low-lying aircraft,
Right.
there's no way that the fireworks that normal public members will be using will affect an aircraft.
Right.
I would love the Attorney General, whenever this comes to a debate, right? And I expect it to come to debate. The Attorney General tell me how, where, and in God's green earth has a firework, a sunflower firework that went up in the air, sent down an airplane, or sent down a helicopter.
Well, Brian, at the end of the day, the legislation makes no sense, and I'm going to agree with Vida, who says pure destruction, and she have it in caps lock. It is pure destruction. The next thing is, why not deal with the importation? That makes sense. Tavika is saying, what about making, the noisy fireworks? Oh gosh, we're in 2022. The man just finished talking to an empty room in Scotland. It's time to work with some better fireworks, with some 2022 type fireworks, the ones that don't cause us such a noise. Maybe if you did something like that, then when you speak in Scotland, the room won't be empty.
Well, it wasn't fully empty. That's 6 people.
How much people he went to Scotland with?
Right? But here's the next thing. We have an issue where you are bringing this legislation and the government is now coming to consult. But you have, I think it is 2 major firework companies in Trinidad. What have they said? What have you gone to them? What has come out of it? Nothing. 2, you have where you're doing a consultation. Where the consultation is being held? I have no idea. Where? You can tell me? I don't know. And then how is this with these consultations?
Yeah, because it's just a scam, Brian. It's a scam. That's all it is. So we should really wrap up the conversation about fireworks now. We spent enough time on it because it's a scam. It's a pure distraction. It is. But we just wanted the legal fraternity like yourself, because I like to say it. I is just a housewife. So to me, I just go in with what I see, what I think makes sense. But I need smart people like you to come and confirm whether it really made sense or not. Whether when my listeners say, let
me even go further. Having done legislative drafting myself, having done some form of drafting and some of the laws that have already been passed, having had to sit down and go through it. You know what I feel sorry for with this? I would love to know who are the legal drafters that sat down and did this legislation. Because obviously somebody had to guide them. And if it is being piloted fully by the Attorney General, then I am so sorry. I feel so sorry for those lawyers of the Chief Parliamentary Council who have to sit down and maybe listen to these guys and say, my God, we really have to do this?
Yeah.
Right? And it's ridiculous. It leaves me feeling one thing as to this is what is passing for legislation.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have to understand, yes, I'm a lawyer, but I also deal with a lot of legislation. So when this comes to me and I am reading it, and I'll be like, you really coming to debate this?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we're going to wrap this. We want to wrap up the fireworks part now.
What I will say is that I hope that the Attorney General brings rationale as to why he has brought these amendments. I do believe that there's some more this has to go back to the drawing board if you want to bring this as legislation. I hope that the consultations that they want to do is meaningful consultations and not PNN-style consultations.
Yeah.
As to what they did with the Smelter plan.
Yeah.
Right?
So but we need to shut it down. That's what we need to do. We need to tell Faris to go and pay attention to things that make sense. What he needs to do is go and pay attention to his procurement legislation and fix that. And repeal it. Don't fix it, just repeal it.
I have it better for you. I think the Attorney General should just go.
Well,
right?
You know what? You know what? That is it. And that's what I started off, actually. That's how we ended up on the Attorney General. Because I have poor Corky waiting to play a song here forever.
Oh.
But the bottom line is, and that's what I started off with, Brian. It is painful to me. It is exhausting to me that the country has not united and called for the resignation of this Attorney General. It is painful. Between Kewal Singh, the Police Service Commission, paragraph 4, the state witness, when we had to file for the Freedom of Information Act to see how much lawyers getting paid, to see who lawyer turned state witness allegedly. It's too much. I mean, the amount of recusals in the health sector, recusals for buildings, recusals for everything. It's too much. It is too much. It is too much. And now we are seeing the floating restaurant event, which is what are gonna go into. You know?
Well, I mean, Marsha, I would agree that yes, this was brought as a form of what do you call it? Distraction.
It is. It's a distraction. That's all it is. A scandal is a distraction.
But all of a sudden, and I agree, we have to keep it on the burner that you have an Attorney General who is alleged, and I will go with the word alleged, so that there is some form of interference, right? There is some form to deal with a gentleman who is the son of a minister with a so-called, no, Corky, I was there the other night, this boat, this so-called boat.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever this boat was used for, if it was a party boat or if it was a dinner
Since when
boat.
restaurant does only open on one night? If you is a restaurant, you should just open every night.
But not only that, where was the food?
Well, they say,
Where was the
so
food?
they allegedly
Where was
had
the
food. They were
food?
standing, eating food. And you know,
Right?
but I mean, all-inclusive fests have food.
No, but no, if you're in a restaurant, you can't tell me you feeding people restaurant in their hand. So hold on, no, I am sitting there.
What are
So
you
they
feeding
come
them?
back.
Listen,
They come back.
Davika. No, I want to answer Davika, right? I want to answer Davika. Rowley will budge because the 1%ers will budge if we force them to budge. And that is where UNC soldiers, this is where we must wake up, stand up, fight. If we have to shut this country down, we will shut this country down. You know, in the newspaper, you see in protests all over the world going on, and it's not happening in Trinidad and Tobago.
Like to, Marsha, if we're talking about unification, right now we have a government coming up with a plan to do this mandatory vaccines for the public service. I am beginning to see the unions come together. But it's time for the citizens to come together and tell Dr. Rowley, who is come with this draconian, this unconstitutional, this Nazi-like style form of government, I have to say it like that, this kind of apartheid style form of governance, it needs to stop.
Yeah.
And we need to come together and tell, hey, boss, say what's going on. People have a right to choose. Let me keep me right to choose. It is your fault that people are not getting vaccinated. It is your fault that you have mismanaged the whole situation. It is your fault that you have a failing Minister of Health. You should have been dismissed.
All right, well, Brian, you're taking over my show now, eh? These are the kind of things I'm supposed to be saying. You're taking all of my content right now. What I need to do is have you be my co-host.
Brian, how
What
could you
I
do
will-
something like that?
What I will tell you, Marsha, is that again you're doing an excellent show. Maybe one day I'll come down and join you.
Yeah,
right?
man.
We must understand that we are seeing things being brought forward to change topics, to change minds. No, don't change the topic, don't change your mind,
Yeah.
don't change your legislation. You have a government that is
Yeah.
failing, you have a government failing with legislation, failing with mismanagement. You're now seeing where the food grants are now going to be stopped, right?
What?
Yeah, well,
Right, so-
Brian, no. Okay, I'm going to have to cut you off. You're taking over my show. You are taking over my show.
All right.
Corky holding that song for me for so long, for me to talk about it. And look, you had to say it before I say it, Brian. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know, there's an old saying, yeah. You don't give a lawyer or a politician a free way to speak.
Oh,
And you have
right.
to wait
Okay.
one.
Now I know what we're supposed to do. Just now I will go, you know what, I'll go, shh, 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 shh. Brian, we can't hear you. Shh, shh, shh.
But I will say, Marsha, on the substantive motion that you have me here for, is that I agree this legislation is lacking substance.
Yes.
This amendment, really and truly, if the government, we've always said in opposition, that if you want to bring good law, you need to bring proper good law. And this is not proper good law, right?
Yeah.
It's leaving one thing. It's leaving to ask.
Well, right, and so we know that already. We know it already, and we're no longer going to spend any more time talking about this law because it is a distraction. It is nonsense. It is to change the conversation, and what we're doing is playing in to it by continuing to speak about it. What we want to speak about is the timeline. We want to remind the country of the timeline of the real issue that we should not be distracted from, and we should not allow them to change the conversation. So the only consultation right now that we're going to have is about Partygate, Schoongate, Boatgate, whatever you want to call it. Gate is some gates. It's Forest Gate, as usual Gate, PNM Gate, Scandal Gate. That is what it is.
What should have been happening is that, I mean, up to now we can't hear the Prime Minister yet. I don't know why.
Okay, all right, Brian.
Yeah?
Brian, I always have to cut you off. Brian taking every one of my points, everything that I have listed here to talk about. Brian talking, oh my goodness, I called Brian to just confirm the fireworks legislation.
Yes.
What I can say
Don't say no more, Brian.
Marsha, great minds think alike.
That is what it is. I mean, I can say, you know, PN, I'm going to say, but fools seldom differ.
But nonetheless, I thank you very much for having me. I hope I was able to edify your program and your listeners.
Yes, thank you
what
very much.
What I will tell people, wherever they have these consultations, go to it. Go to it. I plan to go. When I see it, I will go.
Or you can comment. You can comment on social media because he's put it out on social media. So comment. Even if they don't allow, or comment on social media asking where are the consultations? How do we make our voice heard? So that's what we need to do. We need to bombard.
I commented.
But that's all right. If 300,000 of us go onto the Attorney General's page under his legislation, when he put the legislation up, 300,000 of us must go on and bombard the page and ask, one, where are the consultations, and write what our suggestions are on the page itself and screenshot it, so if they delete it, we go show them.
Well, I'll tell you this. I actually did one when he did put some things at times, and I put a whole paragraph, and I went back on his site to check it. I can't find my paragraph.
Right, well, that's why I must screenshot it. So this is what we're going to do. Everybody on douglAR Radio, everybody on U975, you're going to go onto the Facebook page of the Attorney General. He uploaded the fireworks legislation, and you are going to write pure distraction. What we want consultation on is Boatgate. We're not even going on consult. We are going to show him that we are not even discussing fireworks legislation anymore. I want to see 20,000 comments tonight. douglAR Radio, U975. Go on the Facebook page of the Attorney General.
Yes.
And I want y'all to write pure distraction.
Okay.
What we want consultation on is your involvement in the party boat gates. That is what we on now. Brian, thank you very much for taking time on a Friday night. Tell your lovely wife good night for me.
Yes, I will tell her. My dear, it's a pleasure. I would like to say to Trinidad and Tobago that we this year is an election year, and we have a chance to send a message.
Yes.
We have a chance to let the People's National Movement know that it is time to go.
Yeah.
As I said the other night in Victor's show, that it is time to tell the PNM, tell Dr. Rowley, who is a Tobagonian, time to go back home by his mother.
Oh
right?
Yes.
That's a Tobagonian saying apparently. But Tobago told him it, so it's time for Trinidad under the local government elections in Port of Spain, in Diego Martin, in Sawa Lavender Regional Corporation, in Tunapuna, in Arima. We have Sangre Grande. We're going to win back Sangre Grande. We have to do it in San Fernando. We have to say it in Point Fortin. We have to say, tell Dr. Rowley and his band of mismanagement members, go back home by all your mother. Have a good night.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes. Let's put the dogs away now.
Yes.
Working dog, I'm a hard working dog.
Right. So we are not talking fireworks legislation again. I have issued a challenge to all of my UNC warriors. all of my Trinbagonian lovers, if you love this country, we will stand up and we will push back. Sometimes it does not mean that you have to go out and protest. I understand that right now with COVID and all of that, nobody want to stand up and jam up and whatnot. But 20,000 people could go onto the Attorney General's page, and where he has uploaded the fireworks legislation, I want you guys to put hashtag pure distraction, hashtag PNM nothing, hashtag consult on both gates, right? Because listen to me, Corky, on the 26th on Boxing Day, the Attorney General denies speaking to Schoon while he is in custody, right? But then later on in the week comes out that Adrian Schoon says that he did speak to the Attorney General. The Attorney General missed the phone call and he called him back.
Okay.
Why would the Attorney General in his media release not say that? Let me, I like to read things. I like to make sure I'm using the right words, I'm using their words, I'm using what they put out, right?
Yes.
Let me find the Attorney General. Where are my screenshots on them? Where is the Attorney General? Right. So the Attorney General puts out on the 28th a statement of clarification because he's fixing a news article, right?
Yes.
His words now. Number 2, the AG gave no legal advice to Mr. Schoon whatsoever. Number 3, the AG never saw nor did he authorize the letter referred to in the article, which was supposedly written to the Minister of Health.
Yes.
Number 4, Mr. Schoon's general inquiries of the AG were, as are all general inquiries of that nature, redirected to the relevant line ministries where appropriate. This morning, Mr. Schoon offered his apology to the Attorney General, specifically acknowledged that, I feel like that's bad English, but anyway, specifically acknowledged that no legal advice was given by the AG and stated that he regretted the inconvenience caused. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is the proper entity to advise the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service on any matters in relation to the incident, which is the subject, which is the subject of Miss Rennie's article. The AG has no remit in this matter and will leave the law to follow its natural course. So this is what he says on December 28th. Schoon says now that he did speak to the Attorney General. Schoon put that out. But he didn't speak to the Attorney General while he was in custody. Listen, if the Attorney General spoke to Adrian Schoon on the night, on Boxing Night, or even the morning after Boxing Night, I find, because his release is on the 28th. If the Attorney General spoke to Adrian Schoon, PNM Cabinet Minister, son Adrian Schoon, this is not just you or I, Corky. This is the son of a sitting PNM minister.
Yes. So he has the ranks.
Well, so, which is why they have to spend the time. And I like to use Keith Rowley's words against him.
Yes.
You cannot pass it off as old talk. Keith Christopher Rowley promised PNM supporters.
Yes.
Because I remember sitting in hockey. I remember it clearly sitting in hockey.
Yes.
When Rowley get rid of the whole Manning slate. Remember when Amory Brown, everybody get clean out? Because he was going to break the mold of corruption. That is what he said. It is on record. It is there. It is on Hansard records that sometimes you must break the mold. And he was going to break the mold of PNM corruption. He admitted to PNM corruption because he say he going and break the mold of PNM corruption. He accused Manning and tell Manning that Eric Williams pass it off as old talk. And he was still feeling the stain of he called it the O'Halloran stain.
Wow.
The O'Halloran stain, a century of alleged corruption. He said people were slamming doors on his face in Diego Martin West, and Patrick Manning should not do the same.
Yes.
He said Patrick Manning had a duty to not pass these things off as old talk.
Yes.
We are saying you have a duty to not pass this off as old talk. You took time to write a statement of clarification. If you are writing a statement of clarification on the 28th, if you had spoken to Adrian Schoon on the 26th and the 27th, or the 27th, why not put that in? I see we have a call. Yes.
Yes.
Did I lose it? Yes.
Hello?
Take the call. Sure.
Oh, we took
we lost
too
it. I'm
long.
sorry. Hello?
The number is 218-7762.
Right.
218-7762.
I'll go leave my headphones right here for now.
Yes. Keep
Okay,
your
whoops.
headphones on here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Good night.
Hello?
You hear me?
Yes, we are.
Right, so your caller from Trinity I'm sorry I couldn't call in Christmas Eve night and no.
You left me like, did you leave me like how Corky left me?
Right, Corky, she got your name right tonight, but no problem.
All right.
Yes, Mr. Trincity, how may I help you?
But so here what going on. You see this speed dial ministers have with friends and relatives of cabinet ministers. That's going on for years. That's over 40 years old. Even before cell phone. You understand? Call my boy in my boy from BIR, call the minister, he go handle you.
Yeah.
Call the minister, he go handle you. No, that is son, he go handle you. That's going on a long time. That issue with the school son, it backfire. It collapse. It collapse.
And that's why he needs a distraction. That's why he wants fireworks consultation, but we are saying to him that there is no consultation other than Adrian Schoon Boatgate consultation. That is the only consultation we want to have. We want to know, did you speak to Adrian Schoon on the 26th or the 27th? Because Adrian Schoon say he spoke to him. According to the media release, Adrian Schoon said he spoke to him. And why? And the next question is, why did the Attorney General call Jacob on the 26th?
See, again, what Jacob going on, what police going on search the boy house for what?
And this is why, because what they want is for us, they are trying to make it out as though they're investigating. But don't you think that what they should really be doing is going to get a warrant to find Al-Rawi's telephone records? Because what I want to know, I want a timeline. I want to see what time did the boat shut down. Did the boat shut down at 9 p.m.? And then was Adrian Schoon in custody at 10 p.m.? And then where were their missed calls? Because the Attorney General is saying that he didn't call. We're now seeing that, remember, the Carenage, you heard that the Carenage diary saying that there was a phone call while he was in custody. You heard that part?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah, look,
you see that nonsense where because they're really taking us for fools, boy. They're taking us for fools. They need to go and get a warrant.
Listen, the police, a lot of senior police officers was always in PNM back pockets. When the chickens coming home to roost, Jacob had to be silly. Right? A big man like you with all your years of experience running down that.
Yeah.
You understand? The little girl who saw the who got killed is Andrea Bayat, right?
Right.
Remember that?
Yes, I
Andrea
remember.
Bayat saw something that she did not see. What went on with the investigation? Gary out of it. What went on with the investigation? How far Jacob
But what is going on with the investigation? There's so many investigations. We're told that there's an investigation with Alan Warner.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? We're told that there's an investigation with AV Oil and Gas. What's going on with that?
Right. Now, well, the thing about it is, you would remember that there was a video that Gary Griffith put out, or somebody put out the video, where a reporter asked then Commissioner Griffith, seeing that the government renewed the contract, blah blah blah, if he's going to continue with the investigation. He said the police have his work to do.
You know what we should do? We should go back to, because, into timelines right now. We should
Right.
check when he said that, because remember the Prime Minister say he lost confidence in Gary Griffith about a year ago. So maybe we should time to see if it was the same time he issued that statement. Maybe that's the problem.
In history shows us that fascists always project their ill will and their ill heart onto others. Remember, you just made a statement about, he said Patrick Manning breaking the mold. He has to break the mold of corruption
Yes.
in the PNM. He admitted that PNM is inherently corrupted. When I tell my friends, I've been telling my peers that for the past 40 years.
Yeah.
They just look at me and stupid. PNM is inherently corrupt. Can't get away from that.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. That's a fact of life. The sky is blue during the day in hot sun. Gravity still works. The PNM is corrupt. That's a law of nature. We can't get away from that. Who vexed the business?
Yeah.
So he admitted to that.
He did.
Yep.
Just like he
He
admitted
admitted
to
to that.
PNM have a code of secrecy.
Right, but you see, and that is the psychology of fascism. And that is where we are now. The psychology of fascism is I will project my ill heart and my ill will towards you and say, you are the culprit, not me. I am the saint. You collapse
Absolutely.
all the independent institutions, right? And everybody's saying, PNM forever, PNM till then, blah, 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 right? You lose confidence in Gary Griffith. I don't care if you lose confidence in Gary Griffith. Who's you?
Yeah.
You could write anybody you want.
Yeah.
You could write, you know what I mean? You could only write the Police Service Commission as a citizen. You can't write them to influence a decision. Like madness. And we watch that and we say, PNM forever.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, what the PNM has done, and it's what Eric Williams is trying to do back in the 60s, is to cut the legs off of the unions. You understand? And Roger and them real silent, can't cut it tongue. They're real silent because the unions was leading the charge against the UNC.
Right.
Yes. Right? Then what he do? He come and he shut down Petrotrin, collapse the whole oil service industry, the energy sector, and all the ancillary services that were dependent on the energy sector. How many people out of work? And Roger Simon can't cut it down.
Yeah.
And then he put the tail between his legs and said, "Come, not put that." He said that Patrick Manning would not have shut down the refinery.
Yeah.
Right? That is where we are. Stupidness. You're following stupidness, and we don't understand the psychology of fascists. That is what they do. Mussolini, Hitler. That is what they do. They project ill will. They own bad hearts onto others. Let me give somebody else a chance to Pauline Cokie, you take care. And
Thank you, Mr. Trincity.
Yes.
Have a good
and
week.
yeah, play the tune yet. Yeah, she had you waiting on that tune
Oh
there,
God!
man.
Yes, because there's a song. So it's supposed to go. Listen, it's 7:30, right? And I'm meant to talk about something.
Right.
But I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish Faris just now, and then we're going to move on, and you're going to hear the tune. I promise. You're going to hear the
Not
tune.
a problem. The music just put a ease in the tension, man, and then you start again.
Yes.
And you'll get more calls. So God bless, and you'll be safe.
Same to
Yes.
you. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Right, take care.
Bye bye.
right.
Yes. So I want the citizens to call, to stand up, to push, to press, to don't give up, to don't lose focus. That's what I want. Do not lose focus. We must get to the bottom of this. Did Faris Al-Rawi, did he get involved? Did he speak to Jacob on Boxing Night? He must answer. What did they speak about? Why is the Carnage Diary saying that he spoke to Adrian Schoon, he spoke to the sergeant at the Carnage police station? Why is that? Why are we seeing so many discrepancies with this story? We do not want you to search Adrian Schoon's house. We want you to get a warrant, get the phone records of the Attorney General. We want to see the timelines of his phone calls to Adrian Schoon and to the acting commissioner of police and to the acting deputy commissioner of police. These are the records that the TTPS must produce. These are the records. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, U975, douglAR Radio, Fire Fridays with Marsha Walker.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air, they just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and is the real flavor of TNT.
I'm a dog, I'm a working dog, I'm a hard-working dog.
On MCTV, the local Palooza show and countdown. Hosted by TNT's rock ambassador, Bees Hi-Fi, the metal merchant. See and hear all your favorite local rock bands. Keep it rock alive. Rhythms Communications Network. Local Palooza show and countdown. Coming soon on MCTV, the local Palooza show and countdown.
Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain, has the largest variety of toys in the Caribbean and South America. No one can beat our prices. If you see it cheaper anywhere else, prove it and we will beat it. We're open every day till late, Sunday to Sunday, even on Christmas Eve till 11 p.m. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain. Even Santa buys toys from us.
Toys.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in. Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
douglAR Radio is now on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. with Anil Roberts. Bringing you the facts on politics and up-to-date information. Also taking your calls on 218-7762. douglAR Radio on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Get ready for the revolution. Come on, what you say?
Sponsored by Royal Castle.
Fire Friday!
Friday, man, shut the place. Friday, in front of the face. Friday, red, white, and black. Friday, and back.
Fire Friday! Oh gosh, if y'all can see Corky when that song playing. Corky, we need a camera on you. We need a camera on you. Alright.
Yes.
So this is my serious moment. Because this letter came after I had read an article. Social Welfare Division has informed citizens. The Permanent Secretary, by letter dated 16th of December 2021, has directed that the Food Support Program be suspended with immediate effect. Please note that the suspension is an interim measure to manage the expenditure and to collate and review the information required to support the program. In this regard, all new applications must be placed on hold pending further instructions. In the interim, you are required to investigate all recipients of the food support who are also recipients of existing grants, which are like the Senior Citizens Pension, Public Assistance Grant, Disability Assistance Grant, Adult and Minor, with a view of removing them from the food support program effective February 2022. A listing of the clients will be forwarded to you for your necessary section. Kindly ensure that the above directive is communicated to all members of staff. Listen, I am all for managing expenditure. I am all for efficiency. But you know what expenditure, and I really hate to go back to Mr. Attorney General, but you know what expenditure and what information we should be looking at? Do we need to be renting all of the buildings that we are renting from the friends and family and financiers of the Attorney General? Can we save some of that money? Can we do an audit into that? See how many desks are free? How many spaces can be utilized somewhere else? Can we join 1-2 spaces? Can we ask, because again, the Prime Minister said to landlords, have a heart, na man. So can he maybe give a further discount, if a discount at all? Can he break even? We're not asking him to make losses, but break even on his mortgage payments or whatever, it seeing that the country is going through what the country is going through.
Yes.
These are the places that we should be cutting the fat. Not on the food support program, man. Okay, Corky.
Yes.
People literally are starving. Before COVID, 20% of Trinidad and Tobago lived on less than $1,000 a day, a month.
Oh my gosh.
What can you do with $1,000 a month? Everything is going up. The cost of living is going up. Everything, all prices are increasing. So the $1,000 a month was ridiculous before. Could you imagine the purchasing power of that right now? I was going to read an editorial where somebody say, they teach their children budgeting. And I don't know if, when you do your budget, you do like a little pie chart. Yeah. And you slice it up. So, okay, the pie chart is the 100%. This is the $100 that we have. Yeah. This is the $1,000 we have for the month. And we know, okay, rent takes up this amount. Yes. And food takes up this amount. Savings, if we could. Entertainment, if we could. The person they don't want to splurge. They don't want to go for no weekend nowhere. They just want to pay their bills. They just want to pay their bills. God help people if this is a rainy day. How many people are able to save right now for a rainy day?
We want to live.
How many people? The pie is getting smaller because we landlords suffering, everybody wants something. While these corporations, while these big companies are still trying to make profits. Yes. Are we all in this thing together? Yes or no? You see NFM declaring millions of dollars in profits, nearly 300% increase in profit. Do you really need a price increase? Everybody just wants to hold on to their luxuries. Does the Attorney General, do we need to be renting all this right now? Do we need all this money to be spent on rent right now? Of all places that you going to decide to check expenditures, the food support program, because y'all in the same Ministry of Social Services, because y'all just believe it's a matter of greed more than need. That's what it is. Because your mindset is that these people are greedy. Why? Because they want 2 hampers? Could you for a moment understand why somebody... Could you sit and think about the person who would line up week after week for hampers, and you are saying to them, oh gosh, give somebody else a chance. I understand, give somebody else a chance. But that hamper is going to last them 1 week. So yes, it may seem as though every week they're in a line for somebody else hamper because that is all they have. That is the only way they can eat. Where is the compassion of this government? Where is the servant leadership? I keep saying, oh gosh, all you go read all your Bible, Jesus Christ washed the feet of those he served. Do not go for leadership if you do not understand what it takes. Leadership is not about glam. That's not what it is. It's not about look at me in a big chair, I in power. It's not about picking up the phone and saying, well, you know, there's my opinion on a party boat matter. That is not leadership. Leadership is not, could you get me this contract? Leadership at the heart of it is laying your life down to serve somebody else. And if you're not prepared to lead, get out. If you're not prepared to lead, get out.
Get out of the way.
Yes, that's the song. We must begin to have leaders that understand servant leadership. You must suffer before anybody else suffer. If the ship going down, you go down. You must be the last to go overboard.
Yes.
You must put everybody else before yourself. If there's one piece of pie, cookie, you must not eat.
Can't eat.
That is how leadership works.
Sure.
That is how leadership works. Where are our leaders? On the same week that we hear about flour prices increasing, we hear that they've suspended with immediate effect the food support program.
Wow.
Corky, people just want to live.
Yes.
They just want to live. You remember that song, Corky?
Yes.
This is where you should play it for me.
Oh, sure.
Play the song for me, Corky.
Yes, we want to
People just want to live. They don't want 2 boats. They don't want 2 house. They don't want 10 car. They just want to feed their children when the day come. That's all they want.
Time is running low, running low, running low. Time is running low, running low. Time is getting harder. Life will get its pleasure. The place is getting colder, and we're heading for disaster.
Guys, time is running low. We are headed for disaster. This is not a fear-mongering thing. This is wisdom. This is watching it and reading the room. This is looking at everything in front of you and making a wise decision. Trinidad and Tobago, our children depend on us standing up. Our children depend on us standing and fighting. Carnival Monday and Tuesday, Trinidad and Tobago, we just put on we beads and we jump and we whine. But it is because our children, we didn't teach our children about the riots that took place for that freedom. Do we understand that our freedom was built on the blood, sweat, and tears of somebody else? Do we understand that? Our children deserve our blood, sweat, and tears. The next generation deserves our shoulders. We must put our shoulders up and say, stand on me. We don't get to say, well, thanks to our forefathers, but we go jam, we go enjoy the freedom, and to heck with the next generation. We don't get to do that. We have a great responsibility. That is how it is. Our freedom is not limitless. It comes with a responsibility. Somebody fought for our independence. Somebody fought for blacks and whites and Indians and Chinese and Portuguese and everybody to sit on the same bus. Somebody fought for that rainbow. Somebody fought for my hair to be curly because it mix up all how that I don't even know where I come from.
It's nice.
It all over the place. Somebody fight for these curls.
Yes.
It didn't come without a fight. It didn't come without us standing up and saying, enough is enough. You will not have our country. Trinidad and Tobago, a dictator's tool is hunger. Because when you are exhausted fighting for food, you cannot take on corruption. When you are exhausted trying to make ends meet, you cannot focus on poor legislation. You cannot focus on really digging deep into corruption. You cannot focus past the headlines and past the propaganda. We have got to fight till the end. We have got to fight till the end so that our children may live. Do we understand the history of Venezuela? Just 10 years ago in our lifetime, Venezuela was a rich country. Must I remind you all that Senator Bernie Sanders said Venezuelans will live in the American dream better than Americans? He said that like 12 years ago.
Okay.
That is what he said.
So what went wrong?
This is what went wrong. What went wrong is that citizens didn't stand up. They didn't look at the signs and they didn't say stop.
Yes.
We started our independence the same time as Singapore. How is it that Singapore is one of the richest nations in the world and we are now the laughing stock of the Caribbean? How is it that with sun, sea, sand, sugar, everything, oil, anything that you want, we have?
Yes.
How, after all these years of independence, we are the laughing stock of the Caribbean? Last year we saw that we rated even worse than Haiti for our ability to attract investors. Could you imagine that? Layman's term, what that means is that people would rather invest in Haiti than invest in Trinidad and Tobago. That is how dirty our hands are to people now. We are such a risky investment now. Nobody wants to deal with us. How did we get here, Trinidad and Tobago? And again, I come back down to using my only language, parenting. If you miss the milestones, you're going to wake up one morning and say, why it is my child not walking and it's 10 years old and she's still in walking. Or worse yet, the child end up dead because you missed that there was something going on in the brain, that the legs were the first manifestation, the legs were the first sign, and had you dug deep, you would have recognized there was a problem. Take your head out of the sand. I know facing problems is painful. I know it. But we cannot fix a problem if we do not admit we have it. We have to go back to our history and we have to see. People like to say, Marsha, you have no gratitude for PNM. So let me address the gratitude for PNM because that mindset is important. I understand it. So we say, well, because of PNM, we have independence. Because of PNM, we have free education. Because of PNM, we have free health. Do you know what that's like? Imagine a husband saying, I give you a house to live under. Yeah. And you're eating for free. You're living here for free. You're enjoying air condition for free. And everything is for free, right? Well, I go beat you then. That's what that is. That is what that is. That is what that is. Somebody saying to you that I give you a house for free. You live in an air condition for free. So I go beat you. You must be grateful. Take it. Take the abuse because look at how much thing you getting for free. And when you complain and you say, babe, don't beat me now, they watch you and say, you're ungrateful boy. That is what is going on here.
sad.
That is what is going on here, and we must wake up to it. We must wake up to it. Yes, Eric Williams, I am grateful for your fight. I'm grateful, you know, but that's not love. That's not love. It is not love when you could say, well, I give you the basic necessities so I could abuse you on the next hand. That's not how it works.
Don't hurt me.
I love you, so I gave you the basic necessities. If you love Trinidad and Tobago, you would give us the independence. You would give us the free health. Give us the everything without needing anything in return. Without needing a contract in return. We cannot have the food support program be the thing that cuts while we have government ministers recusing themselves. Stuart Young recused himself to the tune of some kind of $23 billion in recusals. I think I'm remembering the figure correct, but it was in the billions. What possible conflict of interest is there to that tune? What is that about? This is craziness, Trinidad and Tobago, and we must stand up and fight. I know we're tired. Oh, trust me.
So
Today I coming home and somebody calling me to tell me, we ain't seeing you, NC. We not seeing you. I say, you know I have a radio program where I talking for 3 hours every Friday.
Yes.
But you say you ain't seeing me? Oh gosh, man. We still have families. We still have I have to spend my Jesus time. More than my family, I have to spend my Jesus time.
Yes.
Me and my Jesus alone.
Very important.
We still have to be healthy. I can't tell you the last time I went for a walk and a run and a jog or something. Right? I ain't have money to have no housekeeper and
I
whatever.
went to the beach.
I didn't because my child, they can't wake up in time to reach the beach. Oh my gosh. But that and all is a silly thing, and I believe it's a distraction. 5 to 12, the reason they do 5 to 12 cocky is because they don't want us to discuss. They want us to discuss, it should be longer, it should be this, it should be that. That's another distraction. Just open the beach. Logic says the longer that you have time, there will be less congestion because it's like a bottleneck. People trying to fit all of them into 5 to 12.
But the bars are open, and why not the beach?
Because nobody lives there in PNM's brain. You know that song?
Madness
I know you know the song, you know.
Yeah,
Nobody lives there. Because I know, you know how that come about? Tobago and the Champa and all of that, nobody lives there. Nobody lives there in PNM house, in PNM brain. That's why. I can't tell what you're playing because I don't have my headphones.
Put on your headphones. Put on your headphones.
Tell me what really went wrong. What really went wrong? Tell me what really went wrong. We used to be so strong. What really went wrong?
It's a nice song, Corky,
yes,
but
yes.
It's a sad.
Yeah, what really went wrong?
And I'm saying it. What went wrong is that our loyalty was abused.
Yes.
We stayed. We stuck it through with the PNM. We believed in them because they gave us house and land. But they took that loyalty and they abused us. And we must say to our abusers, enough is enough. We must say to our abusers, either you love me or you leave me. We must say to our leaders, either you learn leadership or you get out of the way. That's what went wrong. What went wrong is that our loyalty was abused, and we cannot allow the PNM to abuse our loyalty anymore. We cannot allow the PNM. I'm talking now because I know I might be preaching to the UNC, to the choir, but preaching now to my Diego Martin West constituents. Because all you know, I grew up in PNM country. I in PNM house. I live with PNM family.
Okay.
So those are the ones I am speaking to. I understand that there is a loyalty because that is mine. And we go take abuse from mine. But we must break that cycle. We must break the cycle of loyalty to abusive leaders.
Yes.
Either they love us or they leave us. And if they will not leave us, we must leave them. We must be brave enough to say, listen, And I will always come back and tell you all, I grew up in P&M country.
You did.
When the people that I know, Corky, I told them last week, I wrote a book on John Rahal. Amory Brown was at my I did a camp for the underprivileged children. Amory Brown spoke at that camp.
Right.
I eat Easter lunch in P&M house.
You did.
My child play little cards with Patrick Manning.
And what turned you away from them?
When you get to know people, you either fall in love with them or you see them for their true colors.
Oh.
And as a smart, intelligent, open-minded citizen, when you get new information, you have two choices. You could say, no. Regardless of what information comes to me, I refuse to be wrong. Or you could say, in humility, now that I've got new information, I was wrong.
Oh.
I told the story about Section 34. I didn't vote in 2015 because I bought into PNM propaganda. UNC PNM is the same corrupt thing. That's what I bought into. That was a lie. It was a lie. I knew nobody from UNC, Corky. Nobody I knew from UNC up to 2020 was election, maybe 2018. I knew nobody from UNC. Not a soul. Even now, I is the only UNC person around me.
Yes.
But the more that I got to know Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the more that I got to know what UNC stood for, what their philosophies were, the more I realized they are the right party. They match with my value system. And unfortunately, what happens is we have such a culture, and this goes in now too, Corky, the kinds of things that we see on the newspaper with the domestic violence and the murders.
Yes.
We somehow see arrogance as strength. We see leadership as this ability to shut anybody down. You know, when somebody walk in and everybody shut up and you put them in their place, we see that as strength. I put you in your place, and that is somehow strength. When you feel challenged, instead of understanding where that person is coming from, instead of coming from a place of understanding, instead of leading with love, we just lead with licks. Isn't that what we believe in? I call our style of parenting plantation parenting. So, we joke about it, but you get licks before your parents going out, so you get a little dose of licks just in case you do anything wrong. Yeah. That has not served our country well, and our leaders are unfortunately seems to be product of that. Right? We have to start to change all that culture, Corky. We have to. Yes. We have to start to change the culture. Right? And as I said, I understand. So that's where, and I told the story of Dr. Tiwari greeting Jesse, and the way Dr. Tiwari greeted Jesse versus the way Dr. Rowley greeted Jesse, the way that they shook hands and stuff like that. Rowley standing and looking down versus Dr. Tiwari getting on his knees and meeting her eye to eye. Those kinds of things tell me the personality of a leader. Yes. Right? UNC being about building people, PNM being about building infrastructure. What's the point of giving me a boat if you don't teach me how to fish? And then come and tell me, we're lazy boy, I give you a whole boat and you can't catch no fish. You give me the boat. But you didn't teach me how to use the boat. You didn't teach me which waters to fish in. You didn't build up my confidence to go out there and face the waves. Yes. UNC, on the other hand, will say, here's what. And this is where we need to understand the long-term vision. Because I seen it happening with Farley and THA right now. People want immediate results. You see, immediate results, is a shortcut, no good. Yes. Immediate results, no good. You see them pyramid scheme that promise you rich overnight, no good. Work hard, work long, struggle hard. Yes. The fruit of the Spirit is long suffering, patience, endurance. Right? That's how it works. So UNC now will come and say, right, you are gonna teach you to be a fisherman. Yes. So before you get the boat, and in fact they wouldn't give you the boat. What they will do is build you up. They'll give you the knowledge. They'll give you the tools. Show you where the best waters to fish. What's the right bait to use to catch which fish. Which waters you want to go in for which fish. what kind of fish you should look for, because that's what catching the right price in the market. Right? They will give you the confidence to go out onto the water, because not everybody, you know, you may be afraid of the water. So they will give you the confidence to face the water. They'll teach you how to navigate your boat when the waves come. All of this before you even talk boat. You have to have certain skill sets, certain strengths. You have to be built up before you could even be given a boat. And that right there, when people say what's the difference between UNC and PNM, that's the difference. That is the key core difference between the value system of the UNC versus the value system of the PNM.
So when PNM give you a boat, it will sink.
Well, they give you a boat.
With holes?
And you know what to do with the boat.
Oh.
But they give you a boat and you feel good because you had this brand spanking new boat. So you're feeling rich. You're showing off in the village.
Yeah.
Well, I come from a fishing village, right? So you're showing off in the village. You get a best boat.
Yeah.
But you get a best boat. And well, I come from a fishing village where we don't have a best boat.
Right.
We have the pirogue. But let me tell you, the kind of fish that you could go and buy from my cousin, and he's filleted nice for you.
What?
You eat it the same day, straight off the boat.
Get close to you.
Yeah,
Fish.
you need no fancy boat.
All right.
Because you have the skill, because you grow up in the water, because you know what's going on.
Yes.
Right? And that's the difference. So PNM will get you the boat. You go stand up and you go say, yeah, man. And that's what's happened. Right? We want to show, we want to flam, we want to have all kind of foreign eating chain. We want to have big, tall sky tower, all kind of thing. But we didn't build the human potential. Why? I mean, I think they didn't do that because that way you had to keep coming back because the boat go mash up. The boat ain't gonna really do nothing. And you'll say, but I give you the boat. It's not my fault. And then you're going to start to blame yourself.
And then you're going to start to sing the song.
Let me hear the song. What's the song?
You're going to start to say, you call it the captain, and you're going to say.
From the Trinidad.
Yes.
Location 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, Mayday.
Captain, the ship is sinking.
And that's the whole thing.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. It's a culture of dependency. So you have to keep coming back to me.
Yes.
I have to keep taking your abuse because I need to come back to you to say, well, my boat ship, my ship sink.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with it.
Yes.
You know, and that is the philosophical difference between the PNM and the UNC. UNC builds human capital, human potential, so that by the time they finish building you up, you know what you could do? You could go on, you know how the skill to go and buy your own boat.
Okay.
They will, or they will help you now get your own boat. And that is, you would hear the political leaders say it all the time. It's not about handouts, it's about hand up. I always tell Diego Martin West, the day you put me as MP, whether I leave or stay, you will not need me when you're done. And that's the sign of a true leader. The sign of a true leader is to empower someone to leave you.
Yes.
Not to keep them in a cage because you are so insecure that you are afraid for them to fly. You ask anybody that I have worked with, and when I leave a department, all of them better off. The person that was my receptionist. She was a receptionist in a company that we took over and we decided, and she moved with me. She wasn't even very good at the computer or anything. When I left, when I had Jessie and I moved from that department and went to manage one of our sub-companies, she was promoted. She didn't have somebody else come and she remained the secretary. She was promoted. Because everything I knew, I taught her. That is a sign of confidence. To build somebody up so that they can fly. And that is what UNC does. They believe in human capital, in building people up. The infrastructure will come once the people are built up. The infrastructure is second nature. It will just flow. But UNC believes in building people up. And that's the key difference, Corky. That's the key difference, right? And I know you all, we have a fire session and we have a serious session. We can take some calls, 212-777-62.
218.
Sorry. 218-77. Oh, and I'm going to put my headphones back on because they were just waiting.
We've got a call
Good
coming
night. You are live with Marsha Walker, douglAR Radio, U975 FM.
Good night, good night.
Good night.
And a pleasant evening to you.
Same to you.
And the brethren that here with you,
Good evening, yes.
good night. This is Cascade.
Hi, Cascade.
And good night to Miss Julian John.
Ooh. I don't know I wonder if they're listening. I think they're in caucus tonight.
Uh-huh. Well, I come out of the 1970.
Mm-hmm.
You see the two children that went into the hills, that took up arms and went into the hills.
Oh, my.
Beverly Jones and Jennifer Jones. Colina. One is a doctor today. One passed away. They worked their butt out in the Gonzales area for the PNM, which their father was a school teacher. And you see what they had to end up doing? We had to end up walk the street and march the street and shut down Trinidad to make Eric. Yeah? The same Eric Williams that people that cherish as top of father nation, that make his children pick up arms against him. Walk the street to make him employ children who have 6 and 7 passes from going into the white man kitchen in Cascade, St. Anne's, Honolulu, Maraval, St. Clair to wash start and iron with 7 passes. We too soft. If we want to unseat this man and talk about revolution, we have to put on that boots. You see that boots? And we must go down in all trenches.
Yeah.
Kamla Prasad, not go back in the parliament. She must hit the street from now on. You see the 19 seats what she have? She had to start that mobilization from in the morning and hit the streets of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
We too soft with Rowley. Rowley have an aim, you know.
Well, this is why we need our UNC supporters. We need our UNC soldiers.
Listen to me. Rowley have an aim. This is why he take Gary Griffith to work, because Kamala get rid of Gary. It's a spite he bring back Gary before, you know, and he lost the footage of him. Yeah. Rowley have an aim. He had an aim to destroy all foot soldiers who rise against him, you know, and don't feel though he don't have it in intention still, you know. He have that, you know. So when we're talking about revolution and unseating him, it's the same rise up we had was to rise up in the 1970 where we little children, youths, had was to come out and form themselves a youth organization and from the schools and hit the street to move Eric Williams, you know.
Yeah.
Careful, this man throw tear gas at this in the same PNM, you know. It's the same PNM machinery, you know. Throw tear gas at the same little children in the 1970 on the streets. He remind me of the Sharpeville massacre.
Wow.
You see the Sharpeville massacre in South Africa? Where Botha went into the schools with the soldiers and shoot down little children for protesting for their rights. This PNM was in power at the time, taking tobacco from South Africa. You hear? West Indian Tobacco was one of the biggest haulers of tobacco and selling it in Trinidad and Tobago. When we stand up and tell Eric Williams we're not offloading the tobacco and the materials from South Africa because we have a closed down and shut down on the apartheid.
Yeah.
Careful what we're looking for, you know. Careful, because this PNM, I not a PNM, you know.
Yeah.
My brother and them stick up the first poster where Eric Williams used to line in the yard in Regal Street because he and my uncle went QRC together. Yeah? I'm tracking my aunt and they tell him, Eric, when they set up brain you have, why you don't go on open my party?
Yeah.
He went and formed the PNM and the first meeting he keep was Belmont Park. Go back in the footholds of where the PNM start out in Belmont Park.
When they ask him to do something, he said no, and they stone him. He tell the police, don't go after them. He know who pelting him. It's the same little brothers and big brothers and them. We stick up the poster where they ask him to build a black caucus. The Syrian have a caucus, the Lebanese have a caucus, the Portuguese have a caucus, Indian have a caucus with the African man. Stand up with the African man, and this is where Eric Wilson decided. He said, no, you won't do that. And let children rise up against him. Little children, Mr. Sowing Jones hiding from we in the area. Mr. Chotong hiding from we in the area. Negligence for little children again. And we must take that and walk the street. Here now, I have 40 tires. You hearing me? Hello?
Yes, I'm
I
listening
have
to
40
you.
tires. They could lock me up every time they let me go, every time I come out, you know. But I have 40 tires, 10 a day. 10 a day, and I want to do it when the president coming out of Cascade. You see the acting president coming out of Cascade? I want to do it. And I have a banner for the roundabout. You see the roundabout? Where road leaders come down and pass every morning. I have a banner for him. Get all your boots and go down in the trenches. Kamala must come out and start the bushwhacking of this parliament. We have to get serious on if we want to know where which children is. Better we know where which children is than we don't know where they is, you know. You hear me?
Yeah.
Better we know where the children is, little children is, than we don't know where they is, you know.
Yeah.
Turn the boots. As you say, the mother of the nation, come out and safeguard your children. Mother hen with all the chickens, come out, we go support you.
But she is out.
We have to
She
hit the
is
ground.
out. We are out. She was out walking in the rain. Do you remember that? She was out walking in the rain. So she has been leading. She's the one giving us the opportunities to speak. So she has been leading. Yeah? So we must join now. The soldiers must join. The ground troops must join. I just called for one challenge. Go onto the Attorney General's page. Tell him he must go. Everybody put up a sign on your gates, on your doors, on your cars. PNM must go. Take paint, white paint, and get a black t-shirt and write PNM must go and walk the streets with it. 300,000 of us must do it. It cannot be for just a few. Good night. You are live. Yes, that's a call. Good night.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to you.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, that is very wrong to stop the public assistance and food star and this kind of thing because it have a lot of people starving here outside.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, Marsha. The food card is not much money. The food card is $510. And when you buy the groceries with the money, the groceries finishing before the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You understand? You're trying to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we need the food card and we need the whatever help we get. But I believe that this Rowley, he hiding. He hiding.
Well, wait, we can't hear from him. Oh my gosh, all of this going on and we can't hear from him.
Because he's doing all these things to people, wrong things to people, and then he hiding. Why he has come out and face it?
Yeah.
Why I don't know. He said he's covered. You know you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Right? You're doing the people wrong thing in Trinidad and Tobago. You can't run the country. Rowley can run the country. Right? And taking away the poor people food card and whatever help they're getting from the government. Let me tell you something, Marsha. It will have a set of crimes going on, eh? When we do that next month, a set of crimes will be taking place. And we cannot blame the people who doing the crimes. We have to blame this government, this PNM. Because he's taking away everybody money and whatever again, he's taking it away from them. And it has poor people here. Poor people need it. Look, my husband died. It's me alone.
I'm so sorry to hear.
It's me alone. It's me alone. I'll get a little help from the government. When you cut off, not you know what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
When you cut off the food card, when you cut off the public assistance, the little thing, the little help I get in, what am I going to do? I don't have any children, Marsha.
Yeah.
I do not have no
I'm
children.
hearing the hurt in your voice. I'm so sorry.
It's very difficult for me. It's very difficult. I had surgery last year, September month. Right? I cannot work. I cannot do nothing because of the surgery, whatever. Right? And I am pleading tonight. When this thing cut off next month, is it? Next month, what am I going to do?
Where are you from, caller?
Hello?
Where are you from?
Kelly Village. Okay. I always call. This is Sandra Mangal. I always call. Right? I mean to say, this is wrong. This is wrong what he doing. He know he do wrong things and he hiding. I sure he leaves Trinidad. I sure of that. Hello?
Yes, no, I'm listening. I'm listening.
I mean, it's hurting me. Not for me alone. It's hurting me for the poor people, the poor children who don't have milk in their house. The parents don't have money to buy food for them, or milk for them. What's going on? What's going on? That's why some parents just kill and do things, you know.
Yeah.
You know? I thank you very much. Hi, Coffee.
Hi, good evening.
Oh, how you going?
Good. Thanks for calling.
So you bail out on Marsha last year, yes? I did call her. Marsha, and I call you on
yes.
it?
Yes.
I did call you. And you bail out on her, I'm going to beat you.
Oh, gosh, no. Love. No legs, love. No beating, only love.
Thank you very much, and play some nice music, right?
All right.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Be safe. Thanks
You
a lot
too.
for hearing me out.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes. Thanks for calling.
With all the hurt and pain, with all the trials and crosses you have to bear again and again, it's too much advantage. Enter. It's what? Bring the thing, boy. Lord have mercy.
Hold on, Sandra, hold on.
Since a small is one thing again, sacrifice for the country's sake. You burn your belly if the gold in your beard. How much a pressure for people take? You work so
What year was this?
I don't know the year, but that's the late brother Resistance. It's called Advantage.
I know it, but I want to know the year. This is how long we singing this.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, my. I'll get the year for you.
Raise the cry, the heart and the distress. Advantage. Another family end up in a crisis. Advantage. And if you
Corky.
Yes, ma'am.
How long this song, how old this song is. Corky, how long we singing that. And Trinidad and Tobago, you must see that. You must see that. When people tell me about PNM UNC, PNM ruled this country for 30 uninterrupted years. And thank God for UNC. We have a savings that we're dipping into now. Because for 30 uninterrupted years, it didn't dawn on the PNM that through oil booms, they should take some money and put it into a savings account. It didn't dawn on them. Thank God for the UNC coming into power. We had a savings account, and people could say, well, it wasn't called the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. They rename it so that Patrick Manning could say what? He created it, but he didn't create the money in it. Is the UNC put that savings together. Thank God for that broken 30 years. Otherwise, we would have reached here. We would have had a pandemic, and we would have had no savings because nobody thought to save through the good times. We have got to say thanks for your independence, but you left us in a worse state. You didn't carry us through. Yes, we appreciate all that you've done, but this relationship must end. It must end. The abuse had to end, boy. It had to end. Corky, we running out of time.
I think the song came
promise.
out in 1981. Is
Wow.
it? Yeah.
Well, it's older than me.
Oh.
But I want to, because I promised people that I would have spoken a little bit about homeschooling. Every time school starts back, my phone blows up with homeschooling questions. And of course, now that we have the pandemic, more so, people are exploring homeschooling. So I said I would spend just about 10 minutes on homeschooling. The first thing is,
Yes.
homeschooling is different to school at home. What most people are doing right now is school at home versus school at their respective schools. The idea of homeschooling is not that. It's not, well, we're in a uniform, we get up at a specific time, we turn on a computer, and we follow the same time frame and curriculum and everything that the entire class is doing. Homeschooling is an individual approach. It's by pure nature definition, it's a family-led something. So it's not really a tutor. It's, the parent they're the ones in control. So maybe even if you have a tutor, the parent is the one controlling what the tutor teaches versus the teacher being the one to set the curriculum, right? So I want to set that difference because a lot of people say, well, you homeschool, and so they want me to give advice, but I can't give advice on school at home. So what you need to understand is that what you are doing is school at home. Very, very, very different to homeschooling. Secondly, if you are deciding, because a lot of people are thinking, okay, they don't want their children to go back into the physical school because there's a legit fear as to whether we have put in enough measures to keep our children safe, and so that fear is legit. I know that the government issues these kinds of random fear-driven nonsense statements like reminding parents it's the law that their child must be in school. That's actually not true. Here's my thing on lies, right? If it's a half-truth, it's a lie. There's no gray area. Our Constitution allows a parent the right of freedom to choose how we would like to educate our children. So yes, we are legally required to educate our children, but we are not legally required to send them into a physical school. In fact, and let me quote from the Homeschooling Association, because we do have an actual homeschooling association, right? At present, there is no formal homeschool policy in place. However, the Homeschooling Association strongly advises that every homeschooling family should contact the ministry. They should let them know, okay, I intend to homeschool. This is, and it may not be the curriculum, but this is the way that, this is, how we intend to school. So for instance, with Jessie, she does not follow a curriculum. So technically in the States, we would be called unschooling because it's all led by what her interests are, right? So there's no curriculum that we can send to the ministry. But our Constitution and the law allows for us to educate our children in the best way that we see fit. So you are not being illegal in any way if you make a decision that you want to homeschool your child. Now, again, you have to make a decision. Are you homeschooling your child or are you going to be doing school at home with your child? So if online schooling is not an option and you've decided, okay, well, so for instance, one person I spoke to last night, the child was in standard 4 already, and they were interested in SCA. What they did not know, and this is something, again, that I have a problem with the PNM government and their communication, because their communication seems to be agenda-led. If you give me all the information and let me make a decision, I may trust you more. But when you withhold information from me, I believe that you have an agenda, and I no longer trust even the truth that comes out of your mouth. That's just the nature of trust and leadership. Give me all the information up front and let me make a decision. So, 1, to the child who is in standard 4, yes, the mother can write, and the mother does not need to seek permission, by the way, to remove the child. The mother simply needs to, out of courtesy, tell the Ministry of Education that, hey, I'm not happy. I'm going to teach my child at home. We will continue to follow the Ministry of Education curriculum, and she'll sit SE as a private citizen. And that is how you do it. You register as a private student, and she can go in. They will set which she will, they'll assign which location she'll go and do the SEA, etc. So students can sit SEA as homeschoolers have done in the past for the last decades. I don't even know. They've sat, well, it would have been common entrance before. And guess what? We have had homeschoolers who have sat SEA with the parents not even making a decision whether they do intend to move from homeschooling to primary school to actual school, physical school, traditional school in secondary school. So what happens is they do the SEA and they opt then not to take up their spot. Later on, they decide based on what the child wants to do, whether the child wants to do sciences, etc. The child takes up the position later on. These are real stories that have actually happened. So it's not like theory in my head. These are members of the Homeschooling Association that are generous enough to give their experiences so that when moms like myself come and say, hey, I want to homeschool, I don't think that this is the way that I want to go. I don't like SEA. I don't really believe in our education system. And until reform really happens, I need to do something. And they give advice, right? So I do know of parents that have transitioned from primary school to, they've sat as a private student. They've chosen not to take up the position, even though they got their first choice. And later on, they then take it up. They say, well, I'm ready for my spot now, because it's their right as a citizen to have that spot. So it's not illegal. Do not let anybody fool you. Homeschooling in Trinidad is not illegal. I would suggest that you become a member of the Homeschooling Association, because that is the official recognized body. So, they have a lot of people. I don't make no money off of homeschooling and anything. I don't tutor, I don't anything, right? So, when I say that, you should, there's association and paying me, none of it. But there is a recognized body. So when there are stakeholder meetings, in fact, even on the Education Reform Committee, we do have a representative on that committee who is a homeschooler. Yes. So that association meets with the Ministry of Education. They've been the ones lobbying for the last however long to put a policy in place to work with the Ministry of Education. So I would suggest that you make sure and you become a member. It's a minuscule amount, I can't even remember, but you become a member because then you have that backing. Of course, being part of a tribe, being part of a little wolf pack, you could fight off the predators and the lies better. So that is my little bit of advice. If there's any questions, you guys can call in and ask, and I will try my very best to answer. But just basic is, 1, homeschooling is not the same as school at home. Right? 2, yes, it is legal to homeschool. So you do not need to be afraid to say, listen, I'm not comfortable sending my child out of physical school and online school is not available, so I will pull them out of the system. But make sure that they continue the curriculum if that is your choice. You may decide, listen, this is a great opportunity to decide to call this education system quits and try something else, right? Either way, just remember your child's future is at stake, so it's not like however women fancy you feel today, right? That I had to know, like, Jessie cannot just go and do SEA. It just doesn't work that way because we've not set her up like that. We've not set up her education like that. She does certificates, so, she's certified with graphic design. She's working on social media marketing right now, a certification with that. We just purchased the iPad for her to now go into doing digital art. So she has certification, but none of that. She definitely does not know anything about math in terms of that ability to sit a math exam, a SCA exam, a CXC exam, because the math that she knows is how to make money, how to balance her books, right? How to budget. That's the math. So we do very life lesson type of school, right? She will, and of course, well, you guys know that our faith is very important to us. Not perfect, far from absolutely broken human being, which, you know, Jesus is like our little hospital. But that's, we believe that that is the number one education she needs. So she does a lot of theology, right? So you have to make a decision, and that's what homeschooling really is. Again, is that sort of personalized approach to education, which our Constitution does allow, which our laws allow. You are within your right as a parent to choose exactly how you want to educate your child. If you are not comfortable, you can write a letter and say, I'm not comfortable. This is what my intention is. Thank you very much. There's no legal battle about it. They can't say no. There's no permission. You once, of course, as I say, you can't take them out and then have no plan. You have to have a plan, right? You have to have a plan. You know, you don't want to mess your kids up, right? So you can do that. You are within your rights. You are legally allowed to remove your child from physical school and say, I will homeschool my child. I will be responsible for their education. This is the curriculum that we will follow. As I said, whether, you know, if you're in standard 4 and you're already finished, you're almost finished, and it's just a time to do, you know, SCA papers and whatnot, and you are committed to doing SCA papers and really preparing the child.
Yes.
You can register the child as a private student.
Yes.
And you know, take it from there. So that is available. That option is available. And I know that there's a legit fear with parents. And because, as I said, this half-truth of parents are legally required to send their children to school, stop it. You're legally required to educate your children in a manner that you see fit, right? So what I consider education may not be what somebody else considers education. I certainly do not consider education what I see in our traditional system, but my daughter is very well being educated. Yeah. So that covers homeschooling, I believe. 218-7762.
Yes.
218-7762. Let me know if you have any questions. I do not have any questions on line for homeschooling because, oh gosh, they like the politics, eh? But, you know, I know that that was something that people brought up a lot. They had questions about. They were feeling uncertain. Education, you know, of course, again, you know, consultation. They want to consult about fireworks, but they didn't really do proper consultation about education, right?
Yes.
So that's where we're at with that. So that's homeschooling. Corky.
Yes, ma'am.
I see you looking for music. What music you have there for me?
Gonna get something nice, something.
Was it numbers for COVID? I heard it was ridiculous today. Wow. Guys, oh gosh, talking about COVID, right? Oh, I didn't have this on my list, but I'll go in and talk about it anyway. Talking about COVID.
Yeah.
Again, oh, okay, wait. We're not talking about COVID because I have a call. Let me take that call. Hello. You are live with Marsha Walker.
Good evening, Marsha. How are you?
Evening. I am fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Compliment of the season to you and everyone there in the station.
Thank you.
And also Trinidad and Tobago. Calling on a slightly different topic.
Sure.
This morning I was listening to Stefan, and he played a clip where the Minister of Finance categorically said that hybrid vehicles under 1599 cc's and under are free of all duties and taxes.
Right, that's what I was talking about today with Ronell Fields.
You're right, correct.
Yes.
Now, of course, that information is erroneous. He deliberately or unintentionally misled Parliament because actually they do attract duties.
Can you give us the information? Can you send us? Can you tell us where we need to be sent to verify this information?
Customs, you can check the Comptroller of Customs to verify that.
Okay.
And Senator Mark was quite correct, although he tried to belittle him.
Right.
But that's how they operate.
Yes, of course.
So
PNM propaganda.
yes, he deliberately misled Parliament. What I would like to know is if you all could look into this, and he's seen that he said so, is either he misled or he have intention to make these vehicles free of duty, which will inadvertently reduce the price of hybrid vehicles. So
Well, I know Mr. Fields spoke about it. So what I can do
Correct.
is actually contact him, and maybe I can ask him to join us for a quick call next week Friday,
Well, okay, but
because
in
he's the man.
meantime-
He's really the man to speak on this.
Right, okay, no problem. But in the meantime, I think you all need, whichever of you all are in Parliament, need to address this issue with the Speaker.
Right.
And
Okay.
let either Mr. Imbert apologize
Right.
or set the record straight and
Okay.
pass the legislation so that in effect we can get the vehicles free of duties and taxes.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
I'm taking
I
a
look
note.
forward. I always listen to you all, to Anil and all the UNC platforms.
Why, thank you very much for your support.
Oh, yes. So I look forward to hearing what comes out of this. Don't let me have to call again next week because nothing came out of it.
So you have to be patient a little bit. You have to work with us because sometimes, we have to call around. We have to make sure we get the information. I certainly make no promises other than first step that I will do is reach out to Mr. Fields because I need to understand I can't run with anything until I understand it. So I will have to go and look at the clip. As I said, I did see something about it, but I certainly am not prepared to act anything on it. So I did make a note of it. I will contact Mr. Fields and start the process of finding out who, what, where.
Right.
We do have shadow ministers, so I'll have to find out who is our shadow minister for this particular issue, etc. So I will, do the homework first.
Okay, sure, no problem. But one,
Yes?
No, I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet.
Cook, you want to cut you off?
No. Yes. I mean, it's very rare I get through it. So
gosh, I'm
as
so
I got
sorry.
through, let me take full advantage of it.
Yes, you take
Yes.
advantage.
And what I would like to say, though, is that, yes, I'm a supporter of the United National Congress. Yes, I will support you all. However, I find that you all sometimes you all let issues drag on for too long. You all let issues die a natural death, which should not happen. I won't go into all the issues that are outstanding.
We need help of this. We do need help of our ground troops to keep it in the air,
Yes, I understand it. But you all are parliamentarians. You understand? You all are senators, and you all host meetings on a regular basis. You understand? You all need to keep these issues alive and let the government know.
But how do we keep an issue alive when a new issue comes up? For instance, I mean, listen, I have a thing, right? I try every week to remind the people, Alan Warner, we have questions, we're waiting on to find out about that. We're waiting to find out about AV oil and gas. There's so many. So, I mean, I'm looking for advice as to how we could possibly keep these things in the public domain constantly. Because it just seems to be scandal after scandal after scandal. We have so many issues before the court right now.
Yes, I agree. But we must not let them die.
No, I do agree, but that's I mean, if you saw, we actually did a Facebook page on Section 34. That's to tell you how far back we're going to make sure that our ground troops have the truth, have the information. They are well equipped to continue the fight. So we promise you, we are trying our best to at least put the information out there. But what you guys need to do now is share. And when somebody comes with a nonsense and they PNM propaganda, make sure we will do our end, keep it. As I say, whether maybe I will take every night, every Friday night, what I'll do is the last 5 minutes, maybe we could just call out the list so that they can remember. I'll pick 5 every week or something so we could remember.
You all need to pattern Anil. You see how Anil does it? That he regurgitates everything that goes wrong, that they did wrong, that is what you all need to do all the time. All the time. Let people be aware. You understand? Don't let anything die. I mean,
Right.
especially instances with this so-called commissioner, acting commissioner, police,
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
he's not, you understand? Things
How
are
they
not
just,
happening.
one man decide he lose confidence in a commissioner of police and all of a
All
sudden,
these
law,
things.
all kind of thing happen, all kind of constitutional crisis to get rid of
Right.
him.
And Rowley's condo and his daughter's condo and all.
Yeah.
You must
We need to
keep
know about
bringing
Alan
it up.
Warner.
Keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
You understand? Let people know and let Rowley and his government know that you all are not letting it up.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I'm not saying it is, but sometimes I wonder if he really has something on camera so that you all talk, but you all take
I
no
think it's just,
action.
well, we are taking action, believe it or not, we are. But at the end of the day, all right, so for instance, let's look at O'Halloran. You know, you look at, okay, let's use our own theoretical, our own scandal, right? So
Yeah.
that way it wouldn't be me making excuse for UNC. But Ish and Steve, that inquiry, it hasn't even reached to the High Court yet. That inquiry has taken 15 years, which is exactly the reason for Section 34. Because we have a lot of innocent, remember, we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But in our country,
I
poor
agree.
people sit down in jail, rot and do more time than they would have even done had they been found guilty.
And you
Right?
know what the most important
So
word
it's
you
not that
use
UNC
to do?
not doing it,
You
it's
know
just this thing takes forever, boy.
You know the most important word you use there just now? Poor people, because the rich don't have to go through that challenge and that frustration. You understand? And this is what is happening, and we need to do something about it. Okay, so I think I have usurped enough of your time. I will listen here, and I'm an ardent listener. You
Yes.
understand? And now and then I will give you a call.
Okay. Thank you very much for your call.
Hello.
Good night. You are live with Marsha Walker on douglAR Radio and U975 FM.
Good night. I want to endorse that caller because it's the same thing I was telling Victor. Bring out leaflets, explain all the different, have all the different issues that they keep bumping their gums about all over the streets, all on the radio, on their radio stations and so on.
Right.
People could explain themselves properly in conversation with some of them, although we know they're not that educated. We know that, they just follow blindly, because I don't see how anybody could be following this government to that extent.
Yeah, boy.
It's the worst government we have ever had, maybe in the hemisphere.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that Cascade caller, you will have to listen to them. That's the same thing I told Fuad Khan, and I told this Salman Baratarian, or the MP for
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, we need a
Driving
UNC
about-
wheel like how
Listen,
PNM
let me
have a
talk.
propaganda wheel. So we're working on oiling that UNC
Let me
truth
talk. now.
wheel.
Let me talk. UNC did not campaign for this election, right? For that last election. You see, driving wrong with trucks and walking about here and there. They had a few walkabouts, which was good. I told them, get the cars going, get the cars with mic. If you have to do it at a recording with all the issues we had to talk about. Same thing you're talking about.
Do you know that in my neighborhood, if I did
Listen to
that,
me.
do you know if in my neighborhood I would get in trouble for that?
Let me talk now, right? Drive around with cars, right? You could do recordings if you don't want it, and people could talk in between as well, because we did it. We did it years ago, right? Against Williams. I could tell you that, right? And I told Saddam, I told Fuad, get cars. One day I saw one car came, they just hardly talk anything, and that was it. You understand? You all didn't campaign for that election. They bought out all the TV stations. So you had to drive around with the cars and reach in the people's homes with that on evenings. You understand? When you talk with the mic on the cars, they hear you in the homes. You understand? This is how you have to be the system. You understand? And if you all had really campaigned for this election, you all would have won it. The main thing, I mean, they got a lot of votes for the public servants who stayed home and got full paid, right? That was a stronghold for them. You understand? But if you remember, you have the floating voters, you would have captured.
The floating voters do not like the mic.
You understand? Yes, yeah, get it in their homes, and it's only by cars and spot meetings, right? Even the cascade caller.
Do you think that people, is it possible that maybe you need two different campaigns? Some people may like one idea, others may like another.
The idea is getting the message out to the people by whatever means necessary, right? You have to hit the streets, you have to hit the ground, you have to get vehicles with mic and drive around and have spot meetings, right? You understand? The people need some guidance, they need some level of understanding, you understand? And these other stations and them just have them. If you check PNM people, they vote because the mother and the father always tell them vote PNM. They can't explain anything and all they say, Kamnatif. What Kamnatif? They can't tell you what Kamnatif. Right? If they talk about the live sports, what happened in live sport, they can't explain nothing. They don't know nothing. They just know live sport was a corruption. You understand? Well, classified as a corruption. You understand? And you have to stand up for these things. Look at the situation with the president. She's supposed to be so shamed. Yeah, she doesn't have children. She doesn't have family members to tell her, oh gosh, you know, that is this not looking good? Yeah? They just keep going on and on. You understand? I mean, this is the worst government we have ever had, probably in the history of Trinidad, and as I said, the hemisphere. And we just take it everything, and something come and happen, right? The voting come, that go ready to go again, and some other issue will come up, and some other issue will come up, and so it keep going. You understand? And we're not jamming them enough. We have to have people to call in on other stations as well. Just so they have people calling in.
Do you call in on other stations?
Eh?
Do you call in on other stations and jam them?
I try sometimes, but they get to know my voice. You understand? Yeah. Yeah. This is what you have to do. Get people to call in and try to make certain points. You'll get cut off. You're not calling in with any haste. You're calling in a way to explain. This is why we need the leaflets to come with all the different issues they keep raising. You understand? And clear the air. Let the people understand what is really happening. You understand? I mean, the fight is there, no? The fight is there. It's how you take the fight. You understand? You understand? Because this, I mean, I was supposed to close the eye and win this election with what going on in this country. You understand? Because, I mean, we're heading down a very bad road right now. You understand? And that gap between the rich and the poor.
How did Hitler become Hitler?
Started to hit.
How did Hitler become Hitler? How did Chavez take over Cuba? How did Maduro become Maduro?
But
why didn't they win their election? Or what happened there?
It's revolution you're talking about. You understand? It's revolution. It's warfare you're talking about. You understand? But you had the masses. You have to have the masses on your side. Like Trinidad, for instance, supposed to be in turmoil right now. Trinidad supposed to be in turmoil with the kind of nonsense that's taking place. An oil-rich country which everybody's supposed to be a millionaire, going on to be a billionaire. 1.4 people, so much millions of dollars passed through Trinidad from Prince William's days. You understand? The white man, the analysis the man did some time ago.
So how do we get that out? Because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So how do we begin?
That's long before the pandemic. The pandemic, this.
Okay. So how do we get soldiers to come out? Because you're saying the country should shut down and
by
stuff.
Mobilizing the people, by moving around, hitting the ground. You'll have to hit the ground.
Is there any responsibility of the citizen at all? Is there any responsibility that the citizen takes?
You're supposed to mobilize. You're supposed to have a strong force right now, mobilizing people, getting people to come out, right? Because I think in the savannah how they treated people and so on. You understand? And they should have a lot more people. I mean, it had a lot of people, but it should have a lot more people that actually that came out. You understand? It's supposed to be a bigger crowd than that.
So is there any responsibility on the citizens? Are the citizens prepared to bear any responsibility?
Once you educate these citizens, once you bring these citizens together, right, and you educate them, there's a type of force, there's a type of inspiration that flow with that, and people will just naturally come out on their own. You understand? When you feel that vibe, when you get that feeling, when you're in a march and you like the African Indian march years ago with Makandal Daga, when you moving in those marches, right? It's a certain type of power, it's a certain type of vibes you get. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing could stop you.
Do you think our young people are interested in politics?
You have to get them interested. You're supposed to have some youth working on educating people, bringing them away from that.
How would you suggest you reach the young ones?
Education, get having meetings, getting them together, showing them different points. You understand? I mean, they have to say, thank God the young ones ain't really taking them on, because otherwise, the type of guns the young ones have, this place would have been in real chaos right now. You understand? Thank God the young ones mind unstable and nonsense. You understand?
Right.
Thank God, they have to say thank God for that. Otherwise, it would have been turmoil.
8:57.
Okay, caller. So we do have to wrap up. Yes, thank you very much. Okay. So I'm responding to someone on Facebook that say, we have to tell you all when and where. I actually just told you guys, we are in a pandemic. So to ask anyone, I am not, first of all, I don't believe in violence. The United National Congress also is acting responsibly, whether or not PNM wants to believe it. So we're not going to call anybody out to create a super spreader. But there are creative ways. We must move. We want our government to be creative and find new ways of earning income, etc. We must find new ways of standing up. Standing up does not only mean standing in a crowd shouting and screaming. Can you imagine if 20,000 people, I literally made that call, so I'm going to make it again before we close. 20,000 of our viewers head on over, because this is social media. I'm watching it. I know we have from 9,000 to 30,000 any given Friday. So you guys, 10,000, go on over to the Attorney General's Facebook page and everybody comment tonight. As soon as you finish here, you go onto his Facebook page and you comment. If we start to bombard their social media with Rowley must go, Farris must go, all these different things, all these different UNC cabals and all these things, our soldiers must find themselves on those pages, just like how their trolls find themselves on our pages. So I am saying to you when and where. We have to get creative. We have to, 300,000 of us, put placards on our gates. Right now we are in a pandemic, so we can't stand up and protest the way we are accustomed. But what we need to do, 300,000 of you, take a placard and put it on your car, put it on your gate. Put your t-shirt on and walk around. We must find creative ways, but what we must do is do it. So my first call to you is, as we are finished here, go on to the Attorney General's page and bombard him and tell him he must answer our questions about all the various scandals, starting with, we want to see your phone records. It's 9 p.m. Right, guys? So I've just told you when and where. We have to fight. And I will see you next week, Friday. This is Marsha Walker, U975 and douglAR Radio for Fire Fridays.